Hi guys, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Van.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
All right,
Hello.
we are live. Hello. We're back for the book club round. Is this three?
Three.
Third time. All right. Who can remember the other two books that we did? Do you remember?
Big Magic.
Big Magic, and
Steal Like an Artist?
Steal Like an Artist. Steal Like an Artist. Yeah,
that's right.
That was
Steal
it.
Like an Artist. All right, third book. What was the third book?
Profit First.
Profit First.
We took a hard left turn into business.
Into
Mike
business.
Motorbike.
Mike Motorbike.
Mike Motorbike.
Michalowicz.
Honestly, I do the same thing.
It was nice that so Mike Motorbike, that's his website. He has a redirect in there. So if you go to mikemotorbike.com, it's easier to remember than his last name, which is not as easy to spell. So that's where that came from.
You guys, I have a confession.
Did you not read the book?
Oh, I started it.
Is that your confession, or is there something else?
Here's what happened. Okay, actually, we found out that it's your guys' fault that I didn't finish the book.
No.
Yep.
No.
It's your fault.
You have the whole internet at your disposal, Becca. Do not push this off on us.
Yeah, and we planned it like 7 weeks ago or something. 6
Which
weeks
is
ago.
when we got on the list for the library book.
Yeah.
Actually, I had the
library.
I had the library book, and I was listening to it, and then it like kicked me off because I like ran out of time. And then I was like, maybe, and then I signed up for like 2 other books, like waiting. And I was like waiting, and I was like, yeah, I'll just do like one good haul. I only have 2 hours left. To be fair, I got
2 hours. Okay.
3
You already read it
quarters.
once though.
Yeah, I've already read it, but also I will finish it. I'm going to finish it. I want to finish it. So the last chapters, the last
2 or 3 chapters. I mean,
4 chapters.
I would say anything after chapter 8 was more like advanced techniques and less of the meat was that late.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
So I feel like I got mostly there, and I still want to listen to it. What happened was I was planning on listening to it at work, and then I got stuck. I didn't get stuck, but I ended up working with another person, and so I couldn't listen to the book while I was working with them.
But Taylor, remember, she drove 35 hours across the country in the last few weeks, so I don't exactly give her a pass on this.
Also, there's this great modern invention called headphones that you can listen to whatever you want whenever.
I didn't think that Becca was going to be able to listen to it at work, like her first week.
No, I did actually. But I listened to all of this book during work when I was working alone. Okay. And the only parts I didn't listen to the book was when I was working with somebody next to me, because typically you work alone. But yes, I know I didn't listen to it on my drive, mostly because I was falling asleep listening to books, so I listened to music.
Safety first.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
I did listen to I was like, I don't know if I want to listen to it super early because I want to have it fresh in my brain. That's not an excuse. But anyway, I did have every intention of listening to the whole thing.
And I
almost got there.
We always do.
I almost got there.
You know what? I'm going to shock you. I got less far in the book than you did.
What?
I know.
What?
I know. It's crazy.
I have 2 hours and 24 minutes left. How much do you have left?
I have 3 hours and 53 minutes left.
Oh my gosh, I'm the only one that finished the book?
This is insane.
We are like a bad book club.
What? I'm like the
We're
least readerly of this group, and I
I know.
finished
we're the
it.
failed book bag. Yeah, but to be fair,
It
fucking
probably
fair.
was more my speed than the other two of you.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
So
Yeah,
Yes.
to be fair, this is like a Ryan book to a T. And I swear to God, Ryan, if you haven't made those fucking bank accounts, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
Have you
I have
emailed him a
not.
selfie yet?
I have not, but I have plans.
I was like,
I have plans.
we got to do this for Wheel Talk now that we have this whole fucking
I mean,
thing
I was
situated.
relating it to that. I had a feeling. I was like, did Becca drop this in the list because she wanted me to like start doing this or what? I was like,
do think it would be helpful.
is this like a, roundabout
No,
way of being like,
I
here's
just
what
remember,
you should listen to?
to be completely honest, the reason that I dropped this in the list is because I started doing a version of this, like not exactly it, but it started doing a version of this last year, and it was the first year that I like when taxes came, I was like, cool, let's fucking go.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
You have
and
a tax account.
I do, and
So good.
and it was just through Square. I didn't have to create any special bank account or anything like that. It was just through Square. And it like took out the percentage that I needed. And so yeah, I think that that's why. I think it's very, I obviously don't agree, like you can't agree with everything somebody says, but I think that the meat of the book is really valuable, you know?
Yeah,
So
if you're trying to run a small business and you're struggling to turn profit, then it seems like it would be a really helpful system.
yeah. And if you make like $500,000,
Yes.
that is the main bad takeaway from the book. If we're, I don't
What
know
do you
if we're
mean?
starting off with that, but like that guy literally has no idea how to run a business less than $50,000 a year.
So fucking true. He's like, when you start making $500,000, I'm like, Mike.
I suspect it's mostly for
Michael.
people that have teams, not individual solopreneurs,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It's,
Right. Yeah. Like we're not the demographic for this book.
No, we're not.
But I still think that it's good practice.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, his revenue range at the base level in his chart is 0 to 250K of revenue. But he does
We
talk
laugh
about like,
in pottery.
hey, if you're gonna hire someone, you should have a revenue of at least this much to hire a full-time person. So like, I don't know if you all got to that part.
I did.
No.
May have,
I did.
but yeah, he mentioned part about when you should hire someone. So like, I think that was relatable, but basically like, hey, you need to. But I mean, it's probably the best time to implement it is when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Unless you're
Oh,
worried about
yeah.
the time invested in keeping track of all this stuff. But I mean, when you just start, you actually have the time to focus on
Yeah.
those numbers.
Maybe we should maybe talk about, maybe we should, take about 55 steps back and
Yes.
and chat about what the fucking book is about.
It's a very, very good
Was there any
thing.
overall takes about we all listened to the audio.
Yes.
Taylor had some feelings about the audio
I always have
book
feelings
version.
about audio.
I actually really liked it for the audio. It seemed better to listen, in my opinion, from audio than if I were to physically read it.
Read it.
Because I
Yeah,
would have
more
got bored.
engaging maybe.
Kind of
Yeah.
like the opposite of Steal Like an Artist, where I was like, that would be horrible to listen to the audio.
Yeah.
This one felt more appropriate for that format.
It felt like listening to a motivational speaker give a talk to me.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Which is
I felt
something
like
that
I was listening
am
to
suspicious of.
Yeah, I felt like I was listening to a money podcast the whole time.
Yes, that's exactly right. It sounded like my dad on his iPad, like listening to some shit about like buying gold, like up in the other room. Like that's what it
Invest
reminded
your
me of.
money in gold.
Yeah.
Paper can be burned.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Listen, I've been there. I was there 3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean the bits where he's like, don't wait to open that account. Like, stop now, go to your thing, open your account now, do it.
Roll over on the
Don't
road.
delay. Yeah, I get it. You're listening to this. Take a break.
That made
Yeah.
me absolutely not want to do it. Like, and that's just like my brain type is like, if you're gonna tell me to do something that emphatically, there's no fucking way I'm doing that thing.
Because you have
That has to
PDA,
be the
right?
Yes, it's the
Yeah,
PDA.
yeah.
that has to be
That's that
the
pathological demand avoidance.
Yes.
that
One
has
of
to be
my
the
I'm the same.
non-audiobook added part, right? Like he's not actually
yes.
writing that in the
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. He just kind
Yeah.
of like went off,
Okay.
and I was
Yeah,
like,
and
"What the
at that
fuck,
point,
dude?
you're like, fuck you, Mike. Fuck
I'm
you.
not doing that."
Okay, let's talk about the fucking book.
Okay.
So the book is quite literally it's about what it's called. It's called Profit First, and it's this guy, Mike, and he talks about what every finance guy talks about when they go broke and they have to figure out their life again, and then they create this amazing system and by what every person I'm talking about, Dave Ramsey. And
Yup. Very
it's
Dave Ramsey.
it's the exact same system as Dave Ramsey, just scooted over into business and doesn't involve Jesus. So,
Yes. Which points in his favor for me.
He does reference Dave Ramsey later in the book when he's talking about debt for sure.
oh yeah, like
Yeah, this one's more bank. I would say this is more bank account
yeah,
specific kind of
focused.
Yes.
focused rather than um I would say Dave Ramsey is more personal finance, not
Yes.
Yeah.
business specific.
But it's the
Right.
same
And
system.
But
It's
yeah,
the
yeah,
envelope system.
it's
yes.
it's the and he even talks about his grandma in the book doing the envelope system and like saving money for a vacation.
Yes. And liverwurst.
And liverwurst.
Liverwurst, yep. Yep.
And what you know what's interesting is that when Dave Ramsey tells me to do envelopes, I'm like, fuck you, Dave. But when Mike tells me to get 5 different bank accounts, I'm like, I could do that.
That's because you don't have to go to the bank. You just like make the bank accounts and that's it. Like you don't have to do any other work. You
Yeah,
know?
that might be it. But also I think that it simplifies the envelope system to a like some people's envelope system has like 45 envelopes. I'm like, bro,
That's too many.
I can't fucking do that.
Mm-mm.
Like, I don't want an envelope just for nails. I don't want an envelope just for hot dogs on Fridays. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and so yeah, it essentially says to take out 5 different bank accounts, the profit account, a tax account, a
Owner's
oh,
comp,
owner's comp,
Mhm.
operating
operating
expenses,
expenses,
and income.
and income. So
And then every 2 weeks you split everything up.
on
Yeah,
the
so
10th and the
Those-
25th.
Yeah, into those bank
yeah,
10th
so
and the 25th.
so you're kind of using the one account as your income account as your big account that captures everything that's coming in. And then on the 10th and 25th, you're moving money from that account to the other 4 accounts in certain percentages so that you are, accounting for profit first, paying the government with your taxes, and then you're
Yeah.
paying yourself as an owner or other owners, and then your operating expenses as well. So,
And it essentially okay, here's the biggest thing I hate about books like this, and what I actually like that he did in this book is that my attention span for books like this is so fucking low because by the time I'm at, I have 2 hours and 40 seconds left or whatever, I'm like, bro, you said the same thing 14 times.
Good Lord,
Like,
this meeting could have been an email. This book could have been a
yeah,
brochure.
like, yeah, the book could have been a brochure. And he kind of does that actually. He says, hey, I know that everybody's attention span sucks. I'm going to make like the first 3 chapters really have the most
meat,
important
yeah,
part.
Mhm.
yeah, front loads
And
it.
I appreciate that.
And that's why I didn't finish I had to finish it either. Because I was like, okay, he's put the most important stuff at the beginning. He already said that. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the back,
That
yeah,
is
the back
true.
half is if you're actually going to start using it, here's the more granular notes that
Yeah.
you should know about the owner's comp account and the tax account and some of the different things you should do whenever you hit the 10th and 25th. What do you do that day? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and so I made a fucking account, Ryan. I did it. Well,
Oh,
but I
really?
did it for my personal. I didn't do it for business. But yeah, I made one. Actually, funny enough, there's a bank called Relay. This is not an ad.
Sponsored by Relay.
Sponsored by Relay. Uh,
Member FDIC.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Available in all 50 states.
okay, so it's a
Available in all states and
Relay
situations.
online banking, and this bank is the one that actually pairs with Profit First. So
Oh.
it
Mm.
is super, super simple to create accounts. And I will say their savings accounts are abysmal. They only get 1%. But they like partnered with Profit First, and so I actually got an account because they were having a $25,000 giveaway, and Andrew
They
sent me the
gotcha.
link.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Gotcha.
Andrew sent me the link and was like, "This is the one, for Profit First, blah blah blah." And that's stationary, Andrew. And yeah. So, but it's like free, pretty much free and easy to get accounts, blah blah blah. So, yeah. So
Yeah, I
I
think
set up my 5 accounts, but I set it up with like
so they're all in Relay?
well, with all my 35 billion accounts
Uh,
everywhere else. But that's what my income from the job is going to go into, and then I can transfer it out.
that's good.
And they use digital cards, so like you can upload it to your Apple Pay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That's
don't
those
need a
convenience
physical
features
card.
that he does not want you to have.
Yeah, he doesn't want you to have a card. He doesn't want you to have online banking. He basically wants you to go up to a teller
Yeah.
one of the days that they're open.
Oh, Michael.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Old Mike.
And he wants you to tell the teller to remember you so that when
cracked
you
me up.
When you come back,
when
they
I
say,
come back
Gives
and
me
I
a
want
hard
to
"Sure,
time.
Mike."
Are you sure you want to take this money out?
Put a picture of him next to the register.
And he wants
With
you to
an
put your credit card in an
86
envelope
is
and
it
freeze it inside a
86?
block of ice.
It's like
Yes.
maybe
That's
you
at the
have
very
more
end of the book.
problems than we do, Mike. Like maybe not everyone has that problem.
Or give your credit card in an envelope and give it to a good friend. Have them hold on to it for you.
I wouldn't trust
He
Mike.
doesn't want you to have credit cards?
No, because then
No.
you'll spend money like he did. That's another
No,
thing
he
that
wants
these
you to
finance
have
guys.
he wants you to
they
have the debit card so that you're paying the money right out of an account. You're not
yes.
foregoing payments and you're trying to like obfuscate the
I don't have any
income and
debt
the
and I have a
expenses.
credit card. You don't have any debt and you have a credit card. I don't know about you, Taylor, but
I don't have any debt and I have a credit card.
well,
But what-
look at us.
I
Look
know.
at
I
us.
know it's
3
it's
winners.
an extreme thing, but the
Yes.
whole thing about credit cards is it's foregoing the payment until later when you're not actually as
You mean making the banks work for you?
I
You
mean,
mean
that's a way
making
to
your
put
credit
it.
score go up?
Yeah, there's talk about all that, but
Yes.
we don't
Yeah.
have to
I
get
think
into that.
with these finance guys, it's like listening to an alcoholic talk about alcohol. It's like I couldn't handle this thing, so no one else can.
Yeah,
And you
that
need to
is
make
true.
sure that you never touch a drop of alcohol in your fucking life, or everything will go to shit. Because it happened to me, and it's like not everybody has like all these spending problems like you do, friend. Like
I know. I will say a lot of people do have those spending problems.
I mean,
but
I think there is some data that says that you do tend to spend more with a credit card than if it was debit, right?
100%.
Or if it was
100%.
cash. So I mean,
Well,
Maybe
yeah, that's what Dave Ramsey says. If you're
Yeah.
holding the cash, if you're
Yeah.
holding the cash.
So
Also, you should
essentially the whole
never
thing
buy
is
your
you should always
wife.
use everything in cash. You shouldn't use
Yeah.
anything that is
Yes.
it is, delayed payment and all that stuff. You're just
Do you know what my favorite Dave Ramsey scenario is?
What?
The one where he says, uh, you can't drive, like you never buy new or never buy like mostly new. You should never have a debt on a car. That's my favorite one because it's like, yeah, you should buy this beater car so that your wife and 7 children are driving around in a car that breaks down every time and they're just broken down on the side of the road. And but don't worry, we paid cash and we're gonna trade up.
Right.
And we live in Detroit. Like
Oh no. That's not a safe place to break down.
I like the minute I heard that, I was like, that's such fucking bullshit. I can't even.
Yeah.
Well, I think to a point you have to go to an extreme, or else you're being a hypocrite if you're saying, "Oh, well, in this circumstance, you can't give the exceptions because then people start
Then
taking
people
those."
take the
Yeah.
It's not
exceptions.
gray. You can't leave it gray. You've got to have it black and white so that people don't be tempted to say like, go back on what does the book say? The book says black and white. Okay,
Right.
so there's no gray.
Yeah.
So you don't give people outs. I would suspect that's the reason, but
I agree.
Which again,
I
I don't love. Like that feels so icky to me. That feels so like organized religion, and I can't. Like, and that's my own trauma talking, obviously. But like, I wrote in my notes, maybe I am too autistic for this book. Like
too
I'm taking it
autistic.
too literally.
You might be. You might be.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Did
Okay.
you all like the change in kind of like the base level formula for getting to profit? Did you like that change of order of operations where typically it would be sales minus expenses as profit, and then he's changing it to sales minus profit as expenses? So you're
I
kind
do
of
like that.
I think it's
changing
fucking
the
smart. Yeah.
I think it's
orientation of
fucking smart.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Because
agree
he's
with
right.
Taylor.
He's right because like you can't change the nature of the way you're going to run your business. Like you're not going to do that. Like most
No, you
people just
won't.
can't handle that. And I've been thinking about it all week, like even pertaining to pottery. I'm like, if I've got like a decent amount of money in my account, I'm like, yeah, I'll buy that next bottle of glaze. But could I do without it? Yes.
For sure.
And then I'm saving $20 because glazes are really expensive right now.
That's true. I really do think that it did, like, you know how like we went over my costs for last year and it was like like abysmal, like $20,000, right? And I do think that one of the only reasons that $20,000 was comfortable for me was because I started implementing that type of a system. And it wasn't even like that system straight away. And we've talked about this before, but we'll talk about it again. Square lets you put different little savings accounts in your balance in the balance section of the Square account, and you can say what percentage it'll take out before it sends you the check, essentially at the end of the day.
It's great.
And so you never even see the money. And so I know that his system, the way it works for him, would not work for me because I don't have enough self-control to go in and figure out the math and like move everything. It has to move on its own.
Right.
For
But that's
me.
why they make automated things so you can still do it,
Right.
Yeah.
which is
I mean,
great.
But
Becca,
like,
that's assuming you have a system where most of your income is going through Square. If you don't have that, then it's
yeah.
just kind of
Yeah, exactly. And I did have a system where most of my income was going through Square, and it really did help. At one point I had like 3 grand in there, you
Nice.
know, just like chilling, just chilling. And when I had to pay taxes, I was like, oh yeah, there it is. Cool.
Yes.
yeah, already accounted for
working.
that. Yeah, so
So
if you
I
do a lot
think
of
that,
shows or something like that would be a great system to
Yeah.
yeah,
do that.
to start implementing. And I think I put like, let me look actually. I want to say that my Square account was like, it's not even that much. It was like 20% or something for taxes. Maybe it was 30. But yeah.
Did you all like the Parkinson's law Did you relate to that, Becca? I thought that's where you were going when you were saying, Parkinson's law is basically when you have less, you become more frugal, you become more resourceful to extract the last bit out of it. So he was referring to like a toothpaste example where you get that brand new bottle, you squeeze a lot more, but when
This
you
is where
have
I
nothing
wrote.
left, you're like, okay, I'm gonna get the very last bit out of here and be so resourceful to make it last
Yeah.
another week instead of throwing it away.
This is where I wrote, maybe I'm too autistic for this book because I wrote, his toothpaste analogy does not work for me. When I have a project to get done, I get it done in 24 hours no matter when it's due. I use the same amount of toothpaste every day.
I do too. I also felt the same way. I'm like putting together squeegees, and I was like, I use the same amount of toothpaste from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
And when the toothpaste
When
is done, I'm like,
when it runs
okay,
out,
a
I
new
buy a new one
toothpaste.
beforehand. So, yeah, that's not a
Well,
Yeah,
problem I have.
business wise and time wise, he was also relating it to like if you have a week to get something done, you're probably going to take a week to get it done. You're not going to get it done in like
right.
Not
a
me,
minute
24
or
hours.
you're disciplined to do it in 24 hours. I would suspect a lot of people, I know that in my day job, like I tend to take a lot longer to get something done unless there's a deadline. But
Mm-hmm.
or like in business, he was saying like if there's always money there to be spent, a lot of us will spend the money
Yes, and that's absolutely true.
until it's empty
That is
versus saying,
100% true.
Yep.
you know what, I don't have to worry about that. Like I can be very controlled with how much you spend.
Yeah, I
I
spent a
also
lot less this
find,
year because
yeah,
my jobs were way down until like this month, and then it was great. But anyway,
yeah, but also like I, so I'm like one of those people that can't have a credit card for the most part. Like well, no, that's a lie. I couldn't have a credit card in my 20s. Couldn't
hmm
have a credit card in my 20s. Now I can have a credit card because I've like learned, right? But like where was I going with this?
You've learned what?
I guess I've learned to not overspend, you know? Mostly like where my limits are. And also, like he's like, don't look at your bank account every day. Like that's never gonna happen for me. I will always look at my bank account every day. Um,
That's where he starts the book. He's saying people are in survival mode. They look at their account and they see if there's not money there, they chase it and they go find money.
right?
And if you do the proper first approach, you're not worried about looking at that because you know you're already allocating money to where they need to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, it depends on. I guess you're talking personal as well as business, but I would suspect you're mostly talking about personal here, personal finance, Becca.
yeah, yeah. Well, even business too, but I mean like even when my money is high, I look at my bank accounts every day. It's not to chase the money or anything like that. It's to put myself in a place of like I know where I'm at. I want to know where I'm at.
Mm.
And I don't think that'll ever change. You know,
That's
whether
really
I
good.
have whether I have $1 million or I have 10. But also, where I'm at, like if I know where I'm at, like you know how we always have you seen that thing that's like what's your version of broke?
Yes.
My version of you haven't seen that, Ryan? It's like
No, is that a
what
meme or is that?
well, I think it was a
Yeah.
video that I saw, but it was like everybody has their version of broke. So, for some people, broke is zero, like $0. And for some people, broke is $1,000.
That's
And for
me.
some people, yeah, me too.
If I see
And
$1,000 in the bank account, I'm like, oh fuck,
I
I'm
think
broke.
if
I
I
think you mentioned this in relation to a friend of yours or something.
maybe I don't know, but and then for some people, broke is like $5,000 or whatever.
hmm
I actually think mine's like $300, but but um, but yeah, it like when you have a lower threshold, you always kind of I just went on a tangent. I have no idea what I was saying.
You spend
But
down
does
to the
that
bottom of it.
Yeah, but does that threshold limit you of what you feel like you're capable of? If you just say, "Well, I'm not there," so like, what is what's the opposite side of that? Like, how far up can you go before you're like satiated? or you're saying, oh, well, I don't need to go further.
Mm.
I think
Well,
when I have
depends on if
5,000
money.
in my business account, then I'm like, I don't have to take every single job that comes my way. I
Mm.
get pickier about what I audition for. Like the $100 jobs, I'm like, fuck you. But like,
So like if you did this whole profit thing and let's say you took out just a little bit, like 2% or whatever, and you got to a point where, see, I don't like his way of doing I don't like his way of like allocating the profit every quarter. I
What do you
really
mean to
enjoy.
take the profit out?
Yeah, I don't know if you got to
what does
that,
he say
Taylor.
you should do with it?
He's saying
Yeah,
you
Taylor didn't
should.
get there.
I didn't get that
Here,
far.
I'll read that part. What he was talking
He's,
about.
oh yeah,
So
you should take 50% out.
yeah, so essentially every quarter you're looking at your profit account, and that goes to the owner, I believe, is the way that he was saying. It's kind of like an
Oh, okay.
additional owner's draw,
Okay,
and
so you zero
50%
that
of
out
that
to yourself.
50% of that profit goes out to you, and then 50% stays there. The 50% that stays there is meant to be like a rainy day fund. It's supposed to account for 3 weeks of
Accidental
operating
tax.
expenses, 2 months of
Yeah,
operating cash. Like it's supposed to be your fail safe in
yeah.
case, yeah, you don't pay enough and you don't allocate enough money for taxes, or you have a big purchase or a big breakdown that's going to cost you money. That's going to cut down your profit, but you don't want to just leave that pot of money sitting there because it's going to, not you're not like rewarding yourself for the profit on a regular basis. Because it
Oh.
seems like he's trying to give you momentum that you're paying. I mean, I love just the fact of paying yourself. If people aren't doing that
Yeah.
and they're like, well, I have to have a profit to pay myself, like what's going to
Yeah,
incentivize you to keep doing the work if you're not paying yourself anything?
Yeah.
right.
So that's the operating expense part of it, or the owner's comp part. But the profit is meant to be additional payment to the owners because your business is profitable.
Like a bonus.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's like a bonus.
But you think that's too often, Becca?
For me, it would be too often.
I feel like it is
But
too.
also we make no money. So I feel like, you know what I'm saying?
Like,
Like,
oh, I'm gonna take these $5 and buy myself a
yeah,
McChicken.
Well, I think it's
like,
like a
Ooh.
carrot, though. I think it's meant to incentivize you to keep going every quarter. If you wait until the
Right.
end of the year and you get a bigger pot, are you more likely to appreciate it? I think his perspective was that you give it quarterly so that you can appreciate it more, and you're looking forward to that profit coming your way in every 3 months, rather than saying, okay, I want to do it at once a year, or
Right. Well,
yeah.
if you're
even if it's
sleeping under
minimal.
conference tables, like
Oh my God.
if you're sleeping under conference tables like he did, you'd need that incentive. I'm thankfully not hard up enough to want to be quite that frugal, but
Yeah.
I'm 100% that
you
frugal.
are. You are.
I
You
I
can
was
deal with it.
I was thinking about it, and if Ryan didn't rent an Airbnb for in Sika, I would sleep on a fucking bench. I I would not buy a hotel. I would not do anything like that. I would just sleep on a bench. Or like, I don't know, stay the whole night in the airport or something.
That is my nightmare.
Or I stayed a whole night at the airport. I've done a few nights at the airport.
Ugh. No, thank you.
And
I
not
hate
because
the
I
airport.
had flights to catch. It was because I wanted to get there. I didn't want to get there early. So I got there late. And then I just slept on the floor.
Oh my God. I love how different people's brains are. Like, humanity is incredible.
Well, it's mostly because like in those situations it was mostly because other people had to take me to the airport and I didn't want them to have to get up at 4 a.m.
You know they have this thing called Uber?
You know what? I'm not paying for that shit. Okay?
I respect your
He's gonna
hustle.
hitchhike.
I
Yeah.
respect it.
Do you want to tell him your other idea, Becca, for how you wanted us to save money there?
At Ensika?
Hmm.
What was
It had to
my
do with a
idea?
car.
Oh yeah, I want to get. He thought this was such a bad idea. I think it's fucking brilliant. I think we should get a fucking U-Haul van, and then like one of the ones from Home Depot,
Uh-huh.
and like you only have to pay $29 a day for those. You could get
Yeah.
How many
you
people
could
are you
get
talking about? Are we talking
6.
about?
You mean to carpool people up in?
Yeah, like instead of renting a car, we could just
That's
get one of
illegal.
those.
That's illegal. That's a
What?
great way to get pulled over and ticketed.
You know what I responded with? I said, "How? What are we gonna do? Are we just gonna strap ourselves to the walls in the back, or what?"
No, just bounce the
Yes.
fuck around.
Yeah.
It'll be fine in the dark and the cold
It's
Why do
for
we even need an
hours.
Airbnb? We could just fucking sleep in the back of that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Fuck.
Good Lord.
You know what's funny is that I remember one time that like my cousin was like about my dad. She goes, "Yeah, your dad's so cheap. He'll never get a hotel. He'll always stay with family." And I was like, "What's wrong with that?" And now that I'm like older, I'm like, I know what's wrong with that. I know what's wrong with it. I know what's wrong with it.
And what's wrong with it, Becca?
Everything. Everything's wrong with
Everything. Taking advantage of your family.
it.
Oh my God.
The other quote I found about the profit distribution, it was, and maybe this is because we're basically the only person working in our business and like owning the
Running
business,
it.
quote unquote.
Yeah.
It was saying it's meant to award the equity owners of the business success. It's meant to reward your work on the business, not your work in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Oh, that's fair.
owner's comp is meant to pay for the hours and the time you're putting in on a regular basis. This is meant to
Yeah.
be like, hey, this is your payment as an owner for the strategic things that you're doing with your business. Because it's profitable, you need to reap those rewards. So that's kind of what that extra. It is kind of
Yeah.
like a bonus, but it's also, it's payment by
You know
being
what
the
I
person
bought?
that's running the strategy of the business.
Right.
Do you know what I bought with my profit
What?
last year? That was, oh God, how much was it? It was, oh man, I think it was $800 or $900. I bought a really nice camera.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
he's
no, it was
saying,
$1,300. It was like a
Wow,
really
that's a
nice
good one.
camera.
yeah.
Yeah, and I remember like I felt no shame. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy this fucking camera. Was it for my business? Yes, but also I just really wanted a nice camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
use this for personal things. Don't use it to plow back into your business because the business should be able to sustain itself. So this is like,
Right.
hey, you're cutting down your profit if you just keep throwing the money back into business because you're just going to
Yeah.
spend it, you know?
Yeah, that
So
is just a
here's the
business
thing.
expense.
So here's the thing for me, as somebody who makes very little money, I think that the reason I wouldn't do it quarterly as opposed to annually is because that number is so much bigger annually for somebody who makes so little money. So like $1,300 was like a shit ton of money,
Yeah.
right? To like have as like a bonus at the end of the year, but like $300, that's so easy to just be like, oh, I guess I'll pay off this credit card.
Well,
Right.
he's saying like use it for something nice, like go out to a
I
nice
know,
dinner
but I
or
know, but it's so tempting not to use it when it's that amount
Yeah.
for me. It's like so easy to pay a bill with that, you know? And it's a lot less easy to pay a bill with $1,300 for me
well, I would
personally.
suspect your owner's comp would pay for those bills regularly, hopefully. Your operating expenses would pay for those business bills. And this wouldn't be essential to pay your other
No,
stuff
but like
because you're already
personal bills. I'm talking about like personal shit, you know? Like, oh, I spent $300 on food, you know, or
Mhm.
like,
But your operating or your owner's comp figures that you're taking twice a month would not be enough to cover those bills.
not if you're making $20,000.
Fair.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm saying depending on how much you make. Like if you're making, I think that year I made $40,000. If you're making $40,000, like, yeah, you're still struggling. You know, you're still like not making a shit ton of money. you know? And even if your expenses are wicked low, it's still living in this world is living in this world, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it only works if all your other expenses are already paid
Did
off.
did you like the early part when he was talking about when not your operating expense, your owner's comp is significantly higher. It's like 50% of your income to start off your business. Because he's
I don't
basically saying,
remember that part.
hey, when you start off, your owner's comp should be a huge percentage. It should be the biggest
Mm,
percentage when you start your business, and then it
like
should
the pay that you
slowly
pay
taper down.
yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Because
Because
you're not making that much.
you're not
Yeah,
making money, but you're also like you need to reward yourself, not reward yourself, but you need to pay for your efforts of getting
pay
it off the
yourself.
ground.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
trying to like build that momentum.
I really like, yeah, I like that. I also like how he says that you're the most valuable worker that you have.
Yeah, that was good.
I really enjoyed that because I think that sometimes I don't know, like you think about you have to pay your employees really, really well. It's like, yeah, but you have to pay yourself really well.
You are an employee of you.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And like you're still doing a lot of shit, you know?
Probably doing the most.
Yeah, there's an analogy in there that he talks about like these two guys that are like underwater or something, and they're paying their employees really well or something. Like, I can't remember exactly, but then he specifically says, well, what happens if your employee leaves? Well, I'll take over all the work. And like, what happens if this person leaves? Well, I guess we'll take over all the work. And he's like, then sounds like you don't need those people.
Yeah.
And
You do that thing.
yeah, and I thought that was really interesting. Of course, within the respected boundaries of having boundaries while
Yeah,
working.
and work-life balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can't not pay my accountant to do my taxes because I have an S corp. Like there's no way that I can not pay that. I can't
Hmm.
file it myself.
Big news from L&L Kilns at Ensika. L&L is hosting 2 exciting giveaways. First, 2 plug-and-fire kiln giveaways. Stop by booth 508 to enter for a chance to win your very own plug-and-fire kiln. Full contest details will be available at Ensika. Next, the K-12 exhibit giveaway. L&L is donating 2 plug-and-fire kilns to 1 teacher and 1 student featured in the K-12 exhibit. Be sure to visit and vote for your favorite piece. Looking for a kiln at Ensika? Take advantage of exclusive show discounts on L&L exhibition models. First come, first served. From the Easy Fire series, the E18S3 and L&L's most popular model, the E23T3, are available. For production potters, the E2827 E-Quad Pro series is available. Don't wait. Pre-order now or email sales@hotkilns.com before they're gone. And when you call, be sure to mention Wheel Talk sent you. Learn more at hotkilns.com/wheeltalk. L&L Kilns. Easiest kilns to install, use, and maintain.
And this year I fucked up. Last year I had him just do my corporate taxes, and I have a W-2, so I just did it myself through like TurboTax or something, and I saved myself a bunch of money. And this year he did my other taxes as well, and it was like $1,500 for both. And I was like, oh,
Jesus fucking Christ.
shit. And he's really affordable too for something like that. And I
Yeah.
was like, well, it's too late to say don't do don't do them because he already did them. But like,
Yeah.
I could have saved myself a bunch of money doing that this year, and I wish I had.
Yeah.
And the reason it jumps so high is because there's already like a built-in monthly payroll fee. It's not that like they go from charging like $600 to $1,500 because it's like you're a bigger business, quote unquote, or like a more
Right.
complex business. It's like
Hmm.
there's also monthly payroll fees
Not through
involved
my
as well.
accountant.
Not their no,
Oh,
because
really?
they
No,
said
that's
that
separate.
no, they just added
Oh,
their personal
My personal
taxes.
tax return, and they did my personal tax return and my business tax return.
Yeah.
ooh,
Anyway,
man, that adds
yeah,
up.
that's something I wish I had done myself this year, but thankfully I had a really good month and in January, and I can afford it.
Hell yeah. But see, if you started saving 20%, an extra whatever percentage every month, fuck, you're gonna have so much money, you'll be like, here, take all my money.
Yes, that's what I'll be like.
Do you think the taxes part was dedicated to paying your government taxes, but they didn't? I mean, I guess the paying your tax person, CPA, whoever's doing that, that's just part of your operating expenses. It sounded
Yeah,
I
like
guess.
technically.
he didn't get
Yeah.
into that granular, but if it's that much money, I mean, if there's extra taxes in there, he's like, that's your money. That should go into your. You should adjust your profit
Yeah,
percentage. Um, but
yeah.
Yep.
I like kind of didn't do anything this year because it was just through Square. So that's why I was pretty stoked about like putting in all of those different accounts, do the little envelope system online. And like what's nice is that I made like a groceries one and I just got like a digital credit card thing, or a digital card, which doesn't really help at Walmart, but if I go to Publix it does. Why does Walmart not have tap to pay?
They're cheap. They don't want to buy the readers.
Fuck those guys. They have the readers. They have
I
the
don't know
readers.
why.
They're all the same ones. You just can't use them for tap to pay.
I don't know
So
the
dumb.
answer.
So dumb. Anyway, yeah.
What else you got, Ryan?
I'm trying to see. There's a quote here. Work towards it, believe it. I like I like that story where he was talking about the woman at the conference that had listened to somebody talk about here's the allocation percentage or your conversion rate that you
Oh
should shoot for,
yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
he was saying he basically said you should shoot for 18% conversion,
And she
and
heard 80.
she was at 15 or something or
Yeah.
12, and she heard 80, and she was shooting up her conversion percentage slowly, and she's like, I'm at 75, I can't get that last 5%. And he's like, wait, what, you got 75 conversion percentage? And the story was basically talking about, in the quote that I wrote down, no matter what the number is, if you work toward it and believe it is possible, you will not only achieve it, you will blow past the reasonable numbers others have set.
Yeah. That's like the whole, if you can't, you can't, but if you can, you can. Like literally saying something is telling yourself the same thing. So,
Right.
Yeah, like the barometers or like the benchmarks that are set for the industry,
mhm.
like he's like, don't use that as a limiting factor of like this is where you need to be. But if it's like a goal you're aspiring to, like sure, but don't use that as a cap. Like blow
Yeah.
past it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever thought to have like a financial goal for my business. And that's just
Really?
how much of an artist I am. I just want to like pay my bills and be happy. I've never been like, this year I want to make $50,000. Like, never have I set a goal such as that. And I think it might be an interesting experiment.
But paying your
Would you
bills,
like to set one this year?
I think I might.
You got an idea?
Well, I'll look at my taxes that just came through and see how much I made last year.
do you pay yourself out of the business?
Yeah, I get a regular paycheck.
Okay. So
Because
then
you
that
have a
contributes to your
W-2.
bills.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it pays all my bills. This job has been paying my bills for 10 years.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Oh, no, that's my personal return. That's not the one I want.
So do you think, because you get a W-2 from it,
Uh-huh.
so you are literally paying yourself like a
Yes, like an
consistent paycheck.
employee. Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like, yeah, you have like a perfect system set up where you could like allocate a tax account and allocate a profit account. I don't feel like you need the other accounts personally.
I have
But
no operating costs. Like it's me at my computer. Like I don't have any
right.
materials. Like
You don't
my
pay for
operating,
services?
the only things I pay for are my taxes done once a year, and I pay for like uh like subscription services to the different casting websites, and occasionally I'll pay for coaching.
There you go.
And I mean, but like my expenses are incredibly low.
Yeah, so I mean, like, you could have that, you could have that, but
So then
it,
you're relatively profitable then?
You'd think that I was. I mean, I guess so, because I'm living comfortably. I I mean, it's doing what I want it to do, which is let me own my own time mostly and pay all my bills and have some left over to save.
Yeah, I mean, it
you
sounds like
know,
you don't have a profit dedicated account. You're just that's kind of your owner's comp account, and maybe you leave a little bit in the pot
Yeah, I
for
always
a
leave
rainy day fund
$2,000 at least.
rather than, splitting that up into a profit account specifically. Would the
Gross
incentive
receipts
of
are
paying
stupid.
yourself quarterly, like a little bonus quarterly, would that do anything?
I don't give a shit. I think I have to have something I'm hoping to buy. I think
Okay.
that would I'd have to have a goal where I'm like I want to buy that, but
what if it was like a vacation fund?
I don't like travel.
Do
Okay.
you increase your owner's comp over
Well,
time?
so here's how it works. I do a certain amount. It's like $2,000. It's supposed to be every 2 weeks, but I run it manually because I don't always have that money to hand. Um, but like it's like $2,000 every 2 weeks is what I'm aiming for. And then the taxes come out of that, and I split it between my two bank accounts, my two personal bank accounts. I have one at two different banks.
Okay.
Um, and I forgot where I was going. What was the question? The
Yeah, I was
ADHD is
saying,
strong.
do you increase
Oh,
your owner's comp over time, or is it just is it is it subject relative to how much the income is, and it's like a reasonable percentage of
yes,
the
that's
income?
exactly right. I
Okay.
do sometimes take an owner's draw because that's the whole point of having a fucking S corp. I'll pay myself an extra $1,000 if I have it in the account and I need it.
Yeah. So
You
you're kind
know,
of taking a profit distribution
yeah,
like he's talking about.
yeah. But like
It's just
last year,
not
it
it's
says,
not as structured.
yeah, I know, and it should be because I'm not impulsive generally, but sometimes I can be, and then that's not helpful.
Ah, same.
You are impulsive generally.
Yeah,
Don't lie.
I am.
Yeah.
Okay, but not financially. I'm not
Oh,
financially
yeah.
impulsive.
That's true.
Not typically.
So this says I made $36,600 last year,
Yeah.
and that includes pottery. That's pottery and voiceover together, and pet sitting. So maybe like next year, I'd be like next year I'd like to make $45,000.
Or even 50.
Well, I don't want to aim too high because then I may not meet it. But
I
like,
think the 45 seems reasonable, maybe 42.
Yeah.
yeah, like something achievable, I think would be good.
Well,
Because I
what's
do work very
45
hard.
divided by 12?
I don't know math. That's why this book is so hard for me. Hold
Well,
on.
that's okay. We have calculators.
Me too.
So
3750.
3750. So
3750.
you need to get average of 3750 a month.
Right.
What months are your highest months and your lowest months?
Lowest months are definitely summer, like June,
Mm,
July, and
yeah.
December. Those are the lowest months. But December gets offset with pottery. Some.
Yeah. So does
So,
June, July,
yeah.
technically.
Yeah, that's like more show season. So, it's a nice balance.
Yeah.
But pottery is not going to make nearly as much money for me as this does. And there's a lot higher like overhead.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah,
For
I
sure.
think that's something to shoot for. It's hard when, and I mean, I guess sales are never in anybody's control, but like
No.
I have a limited way of increasing the chances of things for myself. You know, like the clients are going to pick me or they're not, and I don't have any control over that other than getting some coaching, making sure that I'm doing my best work when I audition. I can't like get more auditions than I'm getting, you know.
Yeah,
I could do cold
you
You
can't.
calling,
say
but
you
I hate
can't.
that.
If you can't, you can't,
Like,
Taylor.
yeah, like I'm not given access to them. But anyway.
Do you have the ability to, like, for like wholesale clients for pottery, for instance, I could reach back out to those wholesalers and say, "Hey, we're getting in this time of year. I'm looking ahead. Is that an opportunity for you for voiceovers? Can you reach out to past clients and say, "Hey, is there any projects you have coming up that I can make sure I make room for you or something like that?" Or is that not really a thing?
Well, it's such a every casting person runs their ship differently. And so it's hard to say. Like people do voiceover like cold call, emails and stuff like that where they'll send out a cover letter and their demo reel and say, "Hey, like I'd love to be on your roster or whatever." Um I I do need to look into getting another agent. I have one, but I need one that gets bigger gigs. Um that's something I could do and that would really probably increase
Better
my
return on
chances.
investment, probably.
Yeah, and it costs nothing to send out a demo reel.
But
Um,
a different agent would cost more money, right?
no,
Potentially? No?
agents don't take any money from you unless you book a job, and then they get a percentage of everything.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
a pretty safe way to do it.
yeah. Um,
Huh.
it sucks to
Okay.
be an agent sometimes. I've known a lot of agents who burned out because they just all they do is constantly work, and if their talent aren't chosen, then they get no money at all. It's just really
That's
rough.
a bummer.
Yeah. And I was with a really good agency in New York, and then my contact there retired and did not forward
Ugh.
us to someone else. And I wrote them last year and I was like, "Hi, I was with you guys a couple of years ago and are you interested?" Nothing, crickets.
Huh.
So,
I worry about that sometimes with wholesalers because I'm like, there's this one person that I contact. I'm like, what happens if they leave? You know, you got to be willing to roll with it. If somebody were to leave,
yeah,
you
you
know,
got to get
they're an
in
employee
touch.
of somebody else, so there's no guarantee that that's going to keep flowing because just because you had a good relationship with them.
Absolutely true. And that's happened to me in many production houses too. Somebody leaves and it's like, well, they don't, now other people don't know you, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then would you, um, do you have similar, can you adjust that a little bit for the pottery side of it? Do you have opportunities where you could ramp up in certain
oh,
areas, more shows or more, another shop
absolutely,
you could reach into?
absolutely. I could totally do more shows. The thing is, I don't know if I wanna.
Or shops that you're interested in getting into or
Yeah,
something like that, you know?
yeah, it's definitely possible, but I don't know if I want to put that pressure on my pottery right now. Like, I'm only barely like interested in it right now. And so, yeah, like quality of life wise, ugh. I'll do more farmers markets in the summer. I will. When it gets warmer, I'll do more farmers markets, but I really don't like shows. I really, really, really don't like shows.
That's fair.
So so there's like a tipping point of like where the pottery gets too focused in business, it makes it less enjoyable and more stressful.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily the business part of it that I don't like. It's the dealing with all the people. It's just so uncomfortable for me, and I never sleep well the day before a show, and then I have to probably get up early, change my schedule, and my body feels weird. I've got to make eye contact and conversation with a lot of people,
Hmm.
and set up and tear down can be a lot when you have huge inventory like I generally do, and it's just like 3 tables worth of stuff, and it's just too much. And loading it
Yeah.
all up and then unloading it all, like I could make that much money in my underwear in my closet in like so much less time. It's just like, not doing it. But it's an excellent point that I could, if I could just like increase my Zoloft enough that I would give a shit. Which working on it.
But it sounds like that's part of the strategy of what you do as the sole business owner is, hey, you got to figure out what fits with your
Yes.
skill set, and that's what you like working on your business, not in your business. So you're doing the strategy of, okay, this doesn't work exactly for me, so how do I adjust and do something else that
Right.
is more my speed?
And I gotta say, my online sales since I started last time we had book club, I was like, I'm gonna start making mugs that I like with lots of swears on them. People like that shit.
Yeah, they do.
I have had way more orders for those.
There you go.
So, that strategy is working, and it's great because I just post on the internet and then I just pack it up and take it to the UPS store. And I don't
There you
have
go.
to do anything other than that. And it's working. The people are
Yeah,
finding
that's a
me.
great Venn diagram there.
Yes.
Okay.
Do I get to shit on this author now?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yay! It's really, I feel like, becoming my job to just like throw shade upon the author.
That's why we love you.
This is the reason you got me in the first place, Becca.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, you have such insightful things to say, and also you like to shit on stuff. The thing,
No, but you're also very good at talking about things, but shitting on them nicely, but not nicely.
yes, another feature of autism. I don't know how to shit on things nicely. I was
Yes.
teaching my student to glaze last night. She's never done dip glazing. And so I taught her with like a piece that was already completed, so the glaze would just run right off, and then we could practice a bunch of times. And so she picked up the piece, and she picked up the little pouring container full of glaze and poured it in, and then she set down the pouring container, and then she grabbed the mug, and I was like, "No, you've already fucked up." And then I was like, "Ugh, be nice, Taylor."
I was telling the people at the studio today that I was at that when I teach, I've gotten to the point that when I teach and like I see somebody doing something wrong, I just grab a tool, place it next to them, and walk away. I don't say a fucking word. I just
That's excellent. That's really good. It's like, you need help, but I'm not going to tell you what to do.
yeah.
You figure it
Like,
out.
you look like you're struggling. Here you go.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the way she fucked up was that she got glaze on her hand, and then she touched the pot, and I was like, no, you fucked it up.
Oh, okay. I was
Can't do
like,
that.
what's wrong here? Was it that she set the mug down and
It was that she
collected
got
too much
glaze on her
glaze
hand.
and the timing was not good? Okay.
No. It was just that she got glaze on her hand and then touched the outside. I was like, see, that would be on the outside of the piece now. She was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Dip glazing is hard. Anyway, so shitting on this guy. I'm gonna do it.
Mikey
Motorcycle.
Ready.
Motorbike.
Mike
Here we go.
Motorbike.
So fucking ready.
Okay. So I ended up skipping, first of all, half the introduction because it made me so annoyed because all he did was try to sell what the book was about. And I was like, the book is already in my hand, metaphorically. Like, why? But he wouldn't actually say what it was at all. He was just like, this is great, and here's why, and here's why again, and also here's why. And I'm like, just tell me your idea, dude. And then I read the first chapter, and it was the same goddamn fucking thing. I was 22% through the book when he finally started to explain what the system was.
Hey folks, let's take a quick break to talk about one of our sponsors. Let's talk kiln shelves. If you're still dealing with heavy, fragile, or warped shelves, it's time for an upgrade. Advancer kiln shelves are the thin, lightweight, and ultra-durable solution you've been looking for. Made from advanced silicone carbide, these shelves are stronger than traditional shelves, but a fraction of the weight, saving your back and maximizing your kiln space. They also heat up and cool down faster, helping your kiln fire more efficiently. And cleanup? That's a breeze. Their smooth, dense surface resists glaze runs, meaning less scraping and more time making. Advancer kiln shelves come in a variety of sizes for top and front-loading kilns. Becca uses hers in her small L&L plug-and fire kiln, while I use them in my top-loading electric and soda kilns. If you're serious about pottery for the long term, fire smarter with Advancer kiln shelves. Visit kilnshelf.com to learn more and level up your kiln today. Now, back to the episode.
I was like,
yeah, was that chapter 2 or chapter 3?
chapter 2!
Chapter 2, okay. But it was front-loaded, so chapter 2 is pretty dense, I would suspect.
Yes, but
Okay.
before that, everything was useless.
Yeah, it was pretty slow.
And
It was.
And it was not only useless, it was coercive sales tactics, which absolutely make my skin peel off. Like, he'd say things like, I want you to commit to doing this program right now, right away, without saying what it is. And then he wants you to commit by writing an email to him that you're going to run your business by this program before he tells you what it is. And then
He's a cult leader.
it really felt bad. And then he brags about how many emails from people he has who are committed to doing this program. Thousands of businesses all across the world are now using this system. No, Mike, they're not. You just told them to email you before they read the book. Like, those people, you have no
Michael.
idea if those people are committed to doing this program or not. You set that fucking thing up. Like, I saw right through that. I was like, come on, Mike.
He's trying to get that accountability by saying, like, I sent an email, so I'm accountable now.
Yes, and he assumes that all those people finished the book, one, and B, implemented it. I was like, this is gross. I'm really upset by this. And then the other thing I really want to shit on is his whole story about how he was sitting in his living room, depressed and broke, eating Cheetos in a wife beater t-shirt and watching some like bullshit like fitness influencer on TV.
Oh, yeah.
And how that's how he came up with his genius system, which is just the envelope system, Mike.
Dave Ramsey
remember
came
that
up with that,
story.
Michael.
I was thinking you were going to talk about the piggy bank story with his kid. I don't remember the
I
Cheetos
fucking hated
thing.
that story.
That was so annoying. Oh my God. But no, okay. And so he starts into all this weight loss diet talk. And he's like, I built my idea around dietary science. Like, Mike, you built your idea around the idea of restrictive eating, which is actually not a sustainable way to lose weight, which is why it doesn't fucking work, first of all.
Was this the kids at the camp or whatever, and they say they
No.
couldn't have the plates and stuff?
Oh, yes. Okay, yes. Plates related. But like, my eating disorder was so fucking triggered. And he's talking about like, if you eat a lot of this candy bar, just don't keep it in the house and then you can't eat it. I'm like, bro, this is so fucked up. Like, that's true, yes, but that puts you in this scarcity mindset, and the intuitive eating that I practice is like the entire opposite of that. It's like, eat all the candy bar you want, eat them all, seriously make yourself sick on them, and eventually you're going to be like, that's just a regular food.
Yeah.
All food is regular food. And like, it took me so long to like get out of that like awful like restrictive mindset around eating, that I was actually yelling at the book I'm always yelling at the books when we do this, but I was like, no, that's so wrong. Ugh.
So it sounds like he should have just went right to the meat and potatoes of it, not the stories.
Yeah, but then the book would be 15 minutes. It would be 15 minutes. When can we have self-help books that are 15 minutes? Can we fucking do that?
Yes, please. Make it a TikTok. Like,
sell it for $2 instead of 15. Make it 15 minutes. Boom.
I don't have time for all the padding. And then so he tells us all about his system in chapter 2, and then chapter 3, I think, he was like, the next chapter, I'm going to tell you all about people who implemented this system. I'm like, you just did that for 2.5 chapters. Why are you doing it again? So yeah, I had a lot of trouble getting through this book. You can skip pretty much everything except for chapter 2. That's what I think.
I think I read
two-
to chapter 3 and I was like, I'm good.
I mean, if you're actually going to implement it, you should probably read more of it.
Yes.
But if you're not, if you're just like trying to sample it and see, hey, what is this all about? Does it resonate with me? Okay, if it does, then I'm gonna like read more of it.
The
I
Cliff's
think that-
Notes version is chapter 2.
Yeah,
That's
chapter
the
2.
important one. Yes. Okay. Well, I'm done shitting on it now.
How did y'all feel about
Valid.
the having the obviously it's very bank account specific and like separating the like convenience versus the inconvenient options. Does that make a difference to you? Like if you were to actually implement this, like does that make a difference or
It wouldn't make a difference to me at all. But I'm not an
Wait.
impulsive spender like he is.
having
Like, I
the
can look at
convenient
that.
bank and the inconvenient bank where it's like
Oh,
you
that
have-
matters for me. Matters for
you
me.
have no online banking, you can't get into it, you can only deposit money into it, you have no debit card.
Okay, well, not all of that, but like I mean, Ryan knows very well that I have like 15 bank accounts on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't. I have 3, but 4.
Well,
Four.
actually 6.
What is the actual number?
No. It's 4 banks.
4 different
Oh
banks.
my god.
Banks.
Oh my gosh.
So I
That's-
have
Oh.
Fidelity. Well, to be fair, Fidelity and
She gets higher percentage with certain ones, so that's why she's got extra ones.
no, Fidelity and Vanguard. You can't
Just
get
go for the high
Vanguard
one.
stocks through Fidelity. So Fidelity and Vanguard are different, but Vanguard's been my like rainy day fund account, and then I have Chase because of Ryan. So that's his fault. And then I
It's your fault,
have
Ryan.
I mean, I can just take the Chase account and I can just pay you out and you can have no access to it if you want that more inconvenient.
shut the fuck up. Anyway, I
She does not.
This account is the Wheel Talk account. That's why it's
Yes, it-
shared.
yeah.
That's why she said okay. Yeah.
and then I have, but I also created another bank. I had to create like a bank account because of some stupid shit that happened
Like a
in
sweepstakes?
Chase. Yeah, it was that. No, it was something else. I can't remember, but I had to like, oh, I had
It's probably
to
because-
deposit a check. Remember when Fidelity started doing 20-day holds on their checks. So I fucking A.
Sounds like you need to get Fidelity out of the equation.
Yeah.
Seriously. Well,
Trim the
now,
fat.
well, all of my retirement accounts are in Fidelity.
Then you need to roll them over to Vanguard.
I guess I could do that.
Go with
wonder what-
whoever's
do that.
got the best interest.
Vanguard does.
Vanguard has no fees, I don't think.
Dude, do it.
I don't have any fees with Fidelity.
I know, but you have it's inconvenient. You've got 2 different places for the same thing. And that's probably your old retirement from something else, or is it
Yeah,
invested
from
or
Sherwin.
something?
Plus,
Like,
you
could-
make more interest if you have a bigger amount in there.
You could.
Yeah, but it's all invested. It's all invested in Fidelity.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, no, I don't.
It's like an individual investment account,
Got
I
it,
think,
got it,
where
got it.
she's just got certain
So like,
stocks.
I mean, like I have Sherwin stock, and if I rolled it over to Vanguard, I don't think I could keep the Sherwin stock, could I?
Yeah, you could.
Oh, I could? Oh,
I think
okay.
you can, yeah.
But I have a lot of straight Fidelity stock too. Anyway, regardless. And then I have this fucking Relay Bank. I swear to God, I like nailed it down just to Fidelity, and then I don't know what happened, and it just poof.
Yeah. So
Do you
his
have, like,
description was
$5 in every account, or
to make sure you don't have the monthly.
I'll tell you what though, having 12 accounts really does help when you need to gather money.
how?
That's like she's finding $20 here and $15 there,
Yeah.
and
It's
That's
like
just
finding
easier
money
to
in
forget.
everybody's pockets.
I'd rather know where all the money is. Then I know how much I
look
have.
at all my accounts every day.
all
Well, then
12
how are you
accounts.
finding it?
Well, there's only 4 banks.
Oh my god. This is making my head hurt.
It sounds like
No,
Becca needs.
I used to
needs to
only
consolidate
have
some
Fidelity. I used to
Yes.
only have Fidelity and Vanguard, and then just fucking in the last like 4 months. It's just gone crazy. I'm about to consolidate again. Oh, by the way, on top of that, I lied. It's 5 banks because I had to fucking
Knew it. Called it.
I
called
had to get a bank account at the fucking credit union to get the loan for the land.
Uh-huh.
So
What
I
about
think
Square? Is Square technically another bank?
no.
Yes.
No.
But you're treating
Behind
it
the
like a
scenes,
bank
it's a
because you're
bank.
collecting your money in it.
Well, not anymore. It's not there's no money in there. I had to use all the money to live.
It's funny how
No,
that
but
happens.
I think I'm gonna transfer all of my money over to what I need is like a business bank and a personal bank. I don't know. I think I'm gonna transfer everything over to this credit union.
We love a credit
I like
union.
having a bank that's local, you
Mhm.
know, and I
Do it.
haven't had that
Mhm.
for a long time.
Yeah.
I
do
don't
it.
like the Chase Bank, whatever. I'm not a huge fan of Chase.
No.
Do it. Have the credit union be your banking, and then have your one investment/retirement account business.
Then you'll be so streamlined.
And that's all you need.
I just don't roll that way, guys. I just
It
don't
Yeah,
roll.
you
Like,
you can.
You can do
no,
that.
no. Because see, you guys aren't impulsive that way, and I guess I am impulsive
Impulsive
because
what? Impulsive
So
what way?
you're saying
By
you'd
getting
spend
organized?
it if you saw like that
yeah,
lump sum,
if I
you would just
saw it,
spend it.
I'd spend it. If I saw it, I'd spend it. Like I don't go into my Vanguard account almost ever.
But you can't spend that money. It's not liquid like that.
Some of it's liquid. That's what I pay my car payment out of. So
Because it's in a money market account.
yeah, it's in a money market account. I specifically make certain accounts other than this fucking relay shit. I need to just delete the whole relay situation. But I specifically put money in certain accounts because then I know that I won't touch it.
So maybe you need like one bank for normal things and then
I'm
one
surprised
bank
you
for your don't touch it bank.
I'm surprised you go into your Vanguard account like that shouldn't be something you go into very often.
I told you, I use it for just for my business for my car payment. Remember, okay, this last year I not refinanced, but resituated all my bank accounts and
You shrunk them or you increased them?
I shrunk. I
Oh,
canceled. I know. And then
Wait,
it just
this is the
exploded.
small version?
No. This is not the small version. I shrunk it last year in July
Oh,
and then they
okay.
exploded. Okay.
And this all
So-
happened, oh my God, in the last 7 months?
Yes. Okay.
Girl. Oh, you need a hug and some Adderall.
I don't need a hug. I can manage it, and I've been managing it for years.
You're right.
I
you're
mean,
right.
I do need.
it's
I do
almost
need
like
a
the
hug.
complexity adds a sense of like, security,
Security.
but in
yeah.
reality it's not.
You know
Yeah.
what? It is in reality. It is though. Because I'll tell you why. Because I have money all over the place, and it works. It works for me. Okay, it just works for me. I am the one that lives off of $20,000. Okay,
You are.
you. And I've done it without debt. And the fact that I've been able to do it without debt is unreal. So I feel like it does work. That's what I feel. For me, not for everybody else. For me. Now, I will, since I've had to create this stupid fucking credit union account, I will be canceling another bank. So I
We
cap
believe
it
in
at
you.
4.
Cap it at 4 or 5 banks.
Cap it at 4.
No more.
Well, I gotta have the Chase one because of Wheel Talk. And
But that's not personal. That's not a personal account.
Yeah.
no, and also different banks have been different, like business accounts and shit like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna do relay for business. I don't know. I gotta sit down and figure it the fuck out.
If anyone can do it, it's you.
Doubtful.
That's certainly that kind of system I would be ruined by that kind of system. But if it's working for you, great.
I mean,
it's working.
recently it's been a bit much, but like when I had to get earnest money and I was like, where the fuck am I gonna find a check?
Oh no.
I was like, what the
Oh,
fuck?
because you don't have checks associated with any of your accounts?
I thought I had checks with my Fidelity account, but I can't find them. I
Or
thought
can't
they
you
were in
just
my
do that shit
safe.
digitally?
That's what I asked, and she's like, you can't do that.
Mm.
You can
But
probably get a
I ended
cashier's
up,
check from the bank, right?
Yeah.
yeah, you know how far the closest Chase is?
Is,
No.
Or the
is
closest
it far?
Fidelity? An hour.
Jeez.
Maybe the credit union sounds a little better.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so that I am glad that the credit union figured out its shit. So I think that I might just put Lloyd, stop.
Lloyd.
I got him. Okay, whatever you do, Purina has these calming care packets that you put in their food. And it's like a prebiotic or a probiotic or some shit like that. I gave him it for like, I don't know, 2 months. Maybe 1 month. Maybe 1 month. And this fucking cat is addicted. He became a full-on asshole when I stopped giving it to him. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I gave it to him one evening, and that evening he was sleeping on my bed. I was like, I fucking hate you.
Do you
Like,
not want him sleeping on your bed? Is that
no, that's not the point. He's been avoiding me for 3 weeks. He hasn't slept on my bed for 3 weeks, and then I give him this fucking calming care shit, and he's like, "Oh, I love you." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, you know what? You lived a whole 6 years without this fucking stuff, and now you're all like, it's gonna change my life forever. Fuck you.
I can't believe he committed to giving you the cold shoulder for so long.
He's very good at it.
That's some real cat
He's
shit.
such an asshole.
That's why we love Lloyd.
Every time I try to pick him up to put him in the van, he runs away from me.
Of course. He didn't want to go in there.
No,
He wants to live in the wild and be free.
I know. I almost threw him into the fucking freeway yesterday.
Again?
Jeez.
No, not again. Still concurrent.
I just had this image of a cartoon of you driving down the highway with your music on and like cats flying every which way out of your
Ugh.
van.
Such my life
Like
right
half
now.
a dozen cats and bank accounts.
Honestly though, I'm like so to the point with this fucking cat. I cannot wait to get this goddamn land so that I can just leave him there and never talk to him again. We can just coexist on this fucking acre and a half, and I'll give him his food and he can just fucking leave. I am That's how I feel about Lloyd right now.
Get your shit together, Lloyd.
Yeah, he's such a fucking asshole. God, he's perfect.
Obviously.
Clearly.
So do we have
Did you all
anything
all
else?
get to the point where they were talking about the obviously this is bank, it's still related to the bank accounts, but the taps and the caps, the current
Yes.
allocation percentages
That's
and the
Oh,
where
target
yeah,
I
yeah.
allocation percentages.
That is where I whited out. Like my brain went.
I'm gonna be honest. I listened to it, but I didn't hear it.
Yep.
Do you want me to explain the difference between them and what they're meant for?
No.
Sure.
Okay, so
No.
essentially early on when you're doing this opening the accounts, the different accounts again are the operating expense account, your income account, owner's comp, profit, and taxes. So there are certain percentages that are associated with them. There is some formula you do when you just start the system, and it gives you targets to start at, which is your TAPS, your target allocation percentage. So it's a guide for you to work towards. You don't want to go too big too fast. You don't want to take, too much that you can't accommodate, like, to start with. So let's say your owner's comp, you want it to be 20%. You might not set aside that percentage at 20 to start. You maybe started at 10 or 8 or whatever. But you would do some math to figure out your previous year, how much did you actually spend in payout in owner's comp? If that percentage was 12 and your target is 20, you probably wouldn't want to set that current percentage from 12 to like 18 because your target's 20. That's too big of a jump. So the cap is your current allocation percentage. So that's like where you're currently at. So if you do that math and it's 12, you're currently at 12%, and you might want to adjust it like a percentage. So maybe you'll adjust that 12% to like 13% when you start. And then as you go throughout the year, you would adjust some of those percentages from the current allocation percentage and get it a little closer to your target allocation percentage over time. So that's kind of what the difference is. And you would denote those on the account names. So when you name your accounts, you would say like operating expense, or let's do owner's comp because we were just talking about owner's comp. So you name your account owner's comp hyphen current allocation percentage hyphen target allocation percentage. So you do like owner's comp 12 hyphen 20 or whatever. And then you would use that to give you an idea when you're running your numbers on the 10th and the 25th every month. Okay, I did my income. Okay, what is 12% of my income this month? Or, these 2 weeks when I ran it. Okay, that 12% is what needs to go into that owner's comp account on the 10th. And that makes it easy for you to like do the math each time you go in and like do that twice a month. So that's kind of what those numbers are meant for. Did you all find that part, like, does that make sense? Or is that kind of what you remember?
Oh, sorry, I was texting.
Becca, is that what you remember? Has nobody listened to me
Yes.
the last 7 minutes?
You're
No,
dealing with two
yes.
people with ADHD here. My brain was like, oh no. Wait, he's still talking shit. Oh no.
Yes, that's what I remember.
I'm so sorry.
I kind of understand it. I don't totally understand it.
I'm sure it makes sense to people who can deal with numbers. And hopefully that's a lot of our listeners.
It's
Hopefully.
none of our listeners, Taylor.
I know they're all Potters. Oh my god. But
There's
it
got
makes
to be
sense to
somebody
Ryan.
out there. There's got to be somebody out there like me that
Yeah.
knows the numbers.
Absolutely.
Maybe one. Maybe there's one.
If you're
No.
one of those people, write us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Tell Ryan he's not alone.
Did you get to the part where they were talking day 0, day 1, day 2, like how to slowly adapt the system so it's not overwhelming? Did you get to that part?
Oh,
I think I did.
no. Did we?
I don't know.
It's probably
sounds
in.
familiar.
I want to say it's about chapter 4 or 5, maybe.
Oh,
Well, then
maybe
definitely
I,
yes.
It's right when he's talking about how to nickname the accounts. Do you remember that part
Yes,
where
yes,
I
yes.
just talked through how to name the accounts?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he was saying, like, let's say you're starting the system. Obviously, he starts the book with open the account. Day 0 is open the account, and then you
Yeah.
got to do some math to figure out what your caps and your taps are.
Right.
He does have some guides on his website about like what your target allocation percentages should be in those different buckets. The income bucket doesn't have a percentage because it's just your catch-all bucket, but the other 4 buckets have certain targets.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's saying day 1, take the money from your income account and move it to the other accounts based on those percentages. And then you're kind of off to the races to start either increasing your sales and or cutting your expenses. The cutting expenses part was interesting. He was talking about like, cutting
Like that.
10% of your expenses.
Yeah.
I really
probably
like
do
that part because I feel like we don't really talk enough about cutting expenses.
Mm-hmm.
And like, especially in that section of the book, I was like, God, there's so many people I wish I could send this book to. Because there's so many people out there that are like, I have to buy as much stuff as I possibly can so I can even out my books by the end of the year.
Oh my god.
And if you have enough money for taxes at the end of the year, then it doesn't matter. You can spend less money.
Yeah, I mean he's there was a part where he mentions that the most of the like profit of your business is behind the scenes stuff. It's not that you're making more money, it's that you're more efficient and you're not spending as much. So it's kind of on the operating expense, cutting the expenses enough that you can work efficiently. And that's where he's saying like, hey, cutting 10%. And the reason you cut 10% because you're going to adjust those percentages a little bit each quarter. So let's say you adjust, he's kind of mentioning like, um, take, you cut your expenses by 3% this quarter, and then you would increase your profit by a percentage, your owner's comp by 1%, and your taxes by 1%.
Mm-hmm.
And then over time, you're going to need to, the reason you're cutting 10% off the top is because it takes a while for those expenses to go away overnight, like the bills that you pay on a regular basis, or, some things that you need to slowly dwindle. And that 10% is going to catch up to you because you're going to be increasing those numbers each quarter. And it's going to take you a while to.
Yo, yo, yiggity, yo. Speedball Ceramics is taking NCECA 2025 by storm with brand new colors and must-have studio essentials. Introducing pink and purple Boss Base. Perfect for a pop of color in your toolkit. And they are not stopping there. Get ready for 6 all-new mid-fire glazes designed to take your surfaces to the next level. And because we know color is what you like from Speedball, their signature bats now come in pink, that's our color, purple, and teal. Fun, fresh, and ready for your studio. Stop by the Speedball booth number 403 at NCECA 2025 to see it all in action. Speedball Ceramics, more color, more creativity. See you at NCECA 2025. Remember to visit speedballart.com for all your latest updates and tools. SPEEDBALL, Speedball. And now back to the episode.
To fully see all those operating expenses go away. Because you can't we just bought $500 in clay. You can't just be like, well, I'm just gonna give this clay away, or I'm gonna sell this clay.
Gonna throw it into the trash.
He was talking about required expenses versus, recurring ones, or iffy ones that maybe you can find cheaper alternatives. And then there's ones that you just absolutely don't need. They're nice to have. You could kind of bucket the expenses that way and decide which ones you should cut and shouldn't cut to help your business run more. Certain expenses actually affect your profit and are, help you make more money versus ones that are just okay, I don't need that, those tools, or that that email service or whatever you pay for, or if you pay for, I don't know, I was paying for Square Marketing. Becca, do you still pay for that?
Oh God, I have no idea.
That's one that was okay, I mean, I guess I'm getting some benefit from this, but it's $15 a month. I don't know that I'm actually.
And mine's 30.
Getting anything out of that because it's based on how many contacts you have, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's one of those things that you can, that if you didn't run the line items to figure out what your actual expenses are, then you're not going to know where to cut. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, it seems it's very front loaded, kind of like the book is. You got to do a lot of math and work up front. But I mean, I guess we're at this time of year. You're probably looking at your Schedule C and seeing where your expenses are.
Right.
And filling out your taxes. So it's probably a good time.
God, I'm filling out my taxes after I fucking buy this land. I can't do another fucking thing.
How is that going? Did they accept your offer?
They did. We went back and forth a couple times, and so I started at 22. So it was listed for 30. They bought it for 15.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no perk test. Actually, a perk test had been denied in 2015.
Oh.
What's that test mean? What does that mean?
And a perk test is a soil test for septic system. And they had plans with their perk test. So I think that it had a lot to do with the city and stuff like that. like not being able to get a septic in the right place, blah blah blah. I don't know if it was primarily on soil. So I got a soil engineer to do my perk test without any plans because I have no plans. And anyway, so the offer is contingent on the perk test, and I offered 22 with $500 earnest money. Earnest money is the one that you get back, or it like is applied to your payment. The other money, I can't remember what it's called, is the money that they just get as like a fucking bonus. I don't know. It's like the
Like an application?
something
No.
You
something
mean
with
like a realtor
D.
fee?
No, it's not a realtor fee. It's I feel like it started with a D. The other
Somebody out there is yelling at us. Somebody who knows about real estate is
know.
yelling the answer.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been
Oh,
too
due
long since I
diligence.
bought a
It's
house.
due diligence. Your due diligence money. And the due diligence apparently they just get.
If you
So they're
cancel.
like, yeah, no, regardless. Like even if you get even if you get the land, they still get like a $500 bonus or some shit like that. It's like
Is
cash.
that really true? I don't
I
remember that.
think so. And
Anyway,
anyway, I went in with 22 and $500 earnest. They countered with 28 and $500 due diligence. And then I was like, no, fuck you. And I countered with 24 and $500 earnest. And they countered with 26 and $500 due diligence. And apparently my realtor like called their realtor and was like, bro, she's not gonna pay $500 due diligence. We still have to do the fucking soil test.
Yeah, that's bonus money.
Yeah.
At least your earnest money is coming
Yeah.
off of your loan.
yeah.
Yeah, and so
It's not like I assume there's no bidding war happening. Like,
Yeah.
Right,
I mean,
and
obviously you're
so-
trying to
like-
get more of the comp. They're
Yeah.
trying to take more of the
so we settled on 26 with 500 earnest.
okay.
And so yeah, and then the fucking soil test gets to be done. I don't know how the soil test works with all this rain, but and then yeah, so yep, then
You
I'm
know how much the property tax is going to be on it?
like $80 maybe.
Not bad.
Not too bad at all.
I think. So I don't know what the property tax, like the percentage is. I know it's like assessed value. I think it'll probably go up once I buy it. So that'll be its
okay.
own account.
And when do you take possession? Sign all the papers and all that.
3 days before I fly out for Ensika.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like March 20-something, 20th.
It's crazy. It still
That's
takes that
exciting.
long, even though it's just a piece of land and not somebody living in it and all that.
Yeah, apparently it takes that long for the loan, but also on top of that, the soil test is what's taking so long.
Mm.
It's like 4 weeks out for the soil test.
Wow.
Jeez.
So, yeah. Yeah. It's
Well,
a
I'm excited
fucking
for you.
thanks. I'm a little nervous. I mean, I should go by there and see how wet the ground is since, I've gotten stuck in the ground twice this week.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it sounds like you might need a little gravel path or something to.
I was
Mhm.
planning on doing that regardless, but I have to see if I have to get a fucking coat. Like, there's so many permits you have to get if you want to do anything.
That's home ownership.
It's such bullshit.
Yep.
If there was anything that turned me conservative, it would be that.
You can't
It
just
would be
get
that. Like,
gravel
just
dropped
leave
on the
me
land and then
the
you can just
fuck
rake it around.
alone. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You could
I'm
probably
sure
do
you could
that.
do that.
But I'm sure I have to get a permit for it.
I don't
Probably
think so.
not.
We
I'll have to
have
get it
mulch
dropped
and
off.
dirt delivered to our house every year, and there's no one cares.
Okay.
I mean,
Yes.
if you had to tie into like a water line or something, or like, yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah, there's no reason that the city should be concerned about you putting gravel on a piece of land.
Also, I'm like the where I bought the land is kind of like in if there is anything of a hood in Statesville, it's in the hood. And people a lot of people are like, "Are you sure you want to buy there?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure. I don't want anybody in my fucking business." And if I have a spot in the hood, nobody's gonna fucking bother me.
Smart plan.
Yeah, I mean, like all the neighbors have like 25 cars. I think I'll be fine.
Yeah. If there was a problem with the city, yeah, they're not gonna pick on you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
You'd
like
be
I'll
like,
get.
they got cars sitting out there. They're inoperable. Probably something against that.
Yeah.
Some ordinance. Now I know all about that because I'm on city council.
Oh yeah, I mean, fuck, man. There's so much, so much. Yeah.
Becca, I'm suspecting you got far enough in where they were talking about the debt. And after that, did you get to the part where they were talking about the client percentages of when to dump clients and stuff like that?
No,
Oh, you didn't get
I
that
got.
far.
I've got to the part where he was talking about getting a bookkeeper,
Oh,
and then
did you get to preparing for your worst month? Did you get that far?
I don't think so. Did I get to that?
Preparing for your worst month, and then there was a section about debt freeze. You didn't get that far.
Mm-mm.
I mean, the debt side was basically Dave Ramsey with a slight adjustment, the debt snowball, but saving a small percentage instead of paying off your debt. Well, I guess the one thing that may be relevant for people to from that part, he was
Oh,
talking
like
about,
taking a percentage of the debt that you would have paid and putting it towards profit.
well, he's saying when you have personal debt and business debt, well, we'll just say business debt. When you have business debt, you're not taking a profit, you're paying off, you're taking most of that profit. So that 50% profit you were going to take that and put it toward debt, except
Mm.
for maybe 1% of that. So 49% of it, you pay the debt down, attack it with a vengeance or whatever. Um, line up your debt smallest to largest, attack the smallest first, no matter what the interest rate is, all that, pay the minimums on everything else, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, but you should have an emergency fund first.
Well, yeah, but that's part of what your percentage of your 50% profit
Okay.
that's still in there. Well, actually,
Oh,
I think he was saying take 95% of your profit and pay down the debt if you have business debt first.
okay.
And then the 5% is meant to be your like emergency. If 5% is enough,
Okay.
but um and then you're cutting out debt. And then he was saying if you have personal debt and you're taking profit out, personally, he wants you to attack your personal debt, but save a small percentage to reward yourself as well.
Mm,
So, very small percentage, like 5% or 1% or whatever of the profit you're taking, even if it's like $100 of, you know, personal money that you can use.
yeah.
He wanted you to tackle the debt. So that was the only debt stuff. Um, no, there was a part about dumping clients and talking about the one quote was 20% of your clients make up 80% of your revenue, and also
Mm,
80% of your profits are from 20% of your offerings. So he was kind of saying, dumping the least profitable clients because they tend to be held up by your most profitable clients because you tend to lose money on the people that, you deliver something, they haggle on the price. When you get it, you have to
right.
remake stuff. Um, and they're going to complain about it or they're going to come back with some issue. Like he was kind of saying, dump your least profitable clients, focus on the most profitable ones because they're going to keep pushing your business forward and keep making you more profitable.
Yeah.
So, um, similarly, he was saying like get rid of the people that are only buying your least profitable products because you're losing money on it. So that could be kind of like when we were talking to Tim C about shows and having the shot glasses at the shows or the spoon rests or
Yeah.
whatever. Like those cheap products are gonna attract certain customers that aren't gonna help you be more profitable. So
Right.
focusing on the people that are gonna appreciate
Make you the
the
money.
the products that you have that are more profitable are gonna be better for your business and actually like they're gonna those are like think of your best client, your best wholesale client or whatever, you want to have clones of those people and have more of those relationships out there, not
Yeah.
spend all the time worrying about trying to chase every dollar out there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an analogy about somebody that does landscaping, and then he talks to this guy and he's like, hey, I need my gutters cleaned out, and then he goes and cleans his gutters out, and then he's like, oh, there's roof issues, let me fix the
Oh
roof.
yeah.
And oh,
Yeah.
there now I gotta throw everything off the roof and out of the gutters onto the lawn, and I gotta take care of
Like
the lawn
focus on
again.
what you need to focus on. Like focus, don't be like, I need money, so I'm gonna start. Not only am I gonna start selling pottery, but I'm also gonna start selling glass. And like,
And this
Right.
yeah,
this
like
person
just
asked for this custom item that I don't make, but I'm willing to make it because I want to
yeah,
try it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like be focused on the goal and the like what is making you the money that you want to be making essentially.
Yeah, fewer products, more well made. And he was saying when you're spending money on those other things, it's costing you more because you have more specialized equipment, higher labor costs. Because for one, you're spending more time doing this thing because you don't know what you're doing exactly, or you got to pay somebody to do more specialty stuff,
Yeah.
and you can't really use that equipment to its full potential to make it profitable. So, uh, I definitely related to that part when he was talking about that. So
Oh yeah.
thinning out your clients a little bit to focus on the more important stuff.
Because of like the diversity of items you make, or
Items, but also, yeah, so like being more, now I kind of see, in some perspective, I'll see people that say no commissions, and I'm like, are they saying that because they've had commissions and they've had bad experiences, or like
that's why I say it.
being more choosy about it, or um, I could use it in relation to certain shows. Are there shows that are more profitable that I know are more worth my time
Mm.
versus, okay, I could be at home making more product and not going to that show is actually going to be more profitable because I can have more stock for the shows that more people are going to be at and more of my higher products are going to be bought, or I don't need to take shot glasses to shows. I can have more space for oil bottles, for instance, because they're more profitable to sell.
Hmm.
um 80% of your profit from 20% of your offerings. Yeah, I think the client side of it, I would suspect the wholesalers a little bit. Certain wholesalers are better to work with than others.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, like
Sometimes you like hold on to wholesalers because it's like sentimental or they're a good person or shit like that. And it's so hard to like not escape, but like it's so hard to,
turn down that money. Like if the money's going to keep
Yeah.
going, you're like, okay, am I willing to keep doing this even though I don't, I only make that product for them, or
or I only make like $20 a year or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, because I don't
Yeah,
want to
for
cut out
sure.
that potential. I'm like,
Yeah.
But if
Yeah,
the sales and the data hasn't proven that, hey, it's improving or the relationship's improving, like that
right.
relationship's probably not going to change that much over
Yeah.
time. Are they going to get a
Also,
sudden boom in their business that you're going to reap the rewards of because you're going to be selling more with them? Like maybe, but
yeah.
probably not
Also, I thought it
significantly.
was interesting that the part where he was in the same kind of like line of thinking, the part where he was talking about employees and how many employees you have and like
Mm,
how like do you actually need that many employees, you know? Um and yeah, I've been in too many jobs that were that scenario. and like multiples. And it was just like, oh my God. Like if we could do what we're doing with half of this, and there's just been a lot of money wasting, you know? So yeah, I thought that was very interesting. Like sometimes you have to kind of take yourself out of the picture and be like, do I actually need this? And if I don't, I've got to make hard decisions, you know? And admit that you were wrong. That's another thing. Admit that, like, hey, yeah, I fucked up and I hired you and I shouldn't have, you know?
Yeah, because cutting one or two people is gonna be better for the business long term than everybody.
Yeah,
If you keep everybody, you're gonna sink the whole ship.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought there was a number in here where he was talking about here's how much you should make before you hire. Oh, I feel like I kind of remember. Oh, he was talking about. I thought there was a number where he was saying this is when you should add somebody or consider adding somebody. I think it was. I feel like it was 250K before you have another full-time employee. That's where I'm lost in my notes here a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, basically, you should. I mean, at the size we're at, I mean, getting more
We shouldn't
employees
have
is
yeah.
yeah. You need to run lean yourself
Yeah.
and have good profit yourself before you start hiring people. Yeah. Did you get to the part where he was saying the business pays the owner's tax liability?
I did not
Mm-hmm.
understand that at all.
So he's saying, hey, if you owe money on your personal taxes, the business is
Pays that
should be
money.
responsible to pay for that money. You shouldn't pay for that money.
On your personal taxes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you
How is
personally
that?
own the business. He's
Oh my
saying the
God.
business should take care of you and pay that.
Wow.
I mean, it technically does anyway.
I mean, in a way, you're just cutting down your profit of your business because you're paying, you're kind of taking more owner's comp, I guess, or taking part of your profit and paying out an owner's draw to pay for your tax liability in a way.
Oh, that makes sense.
So he's
Yeah, I
saying,
mean,
yeah,
like
just
you're
take
paying for it
less.
anyway.
The business is less
Yeah.
profitable, but you're taking care of your taxes because,
Yeah.
I mean, typically if you're, well, I guess it depends. I don't know if he's doing this based on most people working a W-2 in their business, and it's kind of like the business's responsibility to take enough taxes out and pay the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess you personally take but anyways, if you own it, I mean, you're paying the taxes on it off the profit anyways, but um he's just kind of using it as a backstop so you don't take on that burden, I guess. It's like a kind of a benefit of being the business owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where my brain shuts off. Like I stop hearing words and like I don't know how to explain it other than that. Like it all starts to sound like a foreign language to me. I'm so bad with this financial stuff, which is why I agreed to read this book.
Are there certain aspects that you would take away, or what are the biggest parts that you think are beneficial to
Well,
implement?
so
I
I
suspect you're not
think
going to go full hog on this
I
whole
am not,
system,
but
right? Okay.
I will tell you what I did just a minute ago whilst you two were discussing that. I was listening, but also I went into my bank account, my business bank account, and set up a recurring weekly deposit into my business savings account for $20 a week. I know I can live without $80 a month.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you're
Then
doing
I've
that
got a little
$20 as
profit
your profit?
account. Right. Then I've
Okay.
got a little profit account.
So
And I won't miss
What
that.
about
that's the
what about a
1% he's
tax
talking
account?
about. Start with like a 1% profit. You're not going to miss 1%,
Right.
and then you slowly build it up.
Right. And I don't need a tax account, Becca, because I pay myself through a payroll company. So the taxes get paid every single week or every other week. I don't owe anything at the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
So that stuff gets paid out like a normal, like a bigger business, like a corporate business,
Okay.
thankfully.
And then you said your expenses are low.
Right. Very low.
Okay. And then you're already doing an owner's comp. You're paying yourself through the payroll.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's
Okay, so
made a
you're
difference in some way to me.
okay, so you do have a profit account. It sounds like that's
Now I
the
do.
key takeaway. You're using your savings
Boom.
account as the profit
Boom.
account.
Making it happen right fucking now.
There you go.
That's right. And then in next quarter you can increase it to $22.
$5.
25.
Yeah. That'll be summer, so that might be a little more of a stretch, but
Yeah, so maybe
we
22.
can make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea because it's true. Like I won't miss it. I won't miss it.
Mm-mm.
And if I look at my bank account and I'm at Kentucky Mudworks and I'm like, okay, so I have $80 to spend instead of $120 to spend, I'll just like use my reclaim clay,
Mm-hmm.
use up
Yeah.
the glazes I have. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
So simple.
Becca,
Life
what about
is so
you?
simple now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Motorbike Mike.
Mikey Motorbike.
Motorbike Mike. What about me? I think what my takeaway from this was more on a personal level as opposed to a business level, because I haven't really made any money this year, so I like, I don't have any money in the business account. And that's not really my goal right now. My goal is to stay alive mentally and
Good goal.
wake up at 5:30. Those are my goals. So with that being said, I created that relay thingy, which I'll probably end up trashing. I don't know. I'll probably end up like changing the bank to the credit union, and then I'll create another, probably. It's frustrating because I think I'll have to create a savings account. I want to create a vacation account. That's my goal.
Mm.
Okay.
To have that's like my quote unquote profit account, is a vacation account. And then
So the checking would take in your income from Speedball.
yeah.
That would be your income account essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And then
your
I'll
savings
put
would be a
like,
vacation account.
yeah, and I'll put a certain amount towards that. And yeah, so I'm still figuring it out, but I think that this just like reminded me of like the envelope system, and it kind of like reimagined it in a different way, so, which is good, because I'm not fucking, I don't want to fucking like, the fucking envelope system is so specific and I can't do that shit. And so
Well, I mean Taylor's doing the auto moving the money. I
yeah,
mean that's kind of a nice way to just
yeah.
keep it out of sight, out of mind. If it's automatically moving for you,
Yeah, and I
then you don't
used
really
to
have to
do
worry
that with
about
one
it.
of my account. I used to do that with one of my accounts. I don't know which one it was. Um, I just wish there was something that like, I wish there was a tool that when the income came in, you could say, hey, every time there's an incoming amount, you take 4% and move it
Yeah, percentage instead of a dedicated dollar
instead of
figure.
a dedicated,
Mm.
a dedicated fund.
Yeah, because why
And
couldn't you automate some of this on the 10th and the 25th? Why can't you just be like, hey, percentage this out? Like instead of manually doing it like he's doing it on the 10th and
yeah,
25th, why can't you just let the bank auto do that?
yeah,
Your
and I
bank would
don't,
have to have a tool for that, and
Yeah.
they
yeah,
probably
your
don't.
bank would have a tool.
Yeah.
And yeah, and exactly, they probably don't. I think there was one bank that I've heard of that does, but I mean, Like a
But
bank
maybe
that my friend was
that's,
using that did, but I don't remember what it was called.
I mean, I suspect it's just better for you to be in your actual numbers on a regular basis. So that's why he does it like that. Besides, like if the tool was there, he would probably still say,
You need to look
Don't
at it.
use
you
the
need to do
tool.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Because
need
then
to learn how
you're,
to drive manual before you drive
Mm.
automatic.
Some of us have limited attention and memory skills and need automatic things.
I agree. I'm with you on that.
Well, do you guys know about Acorns? And this is not an ad for Acorns, but I've been using them for like many years.
yeah. Yeah, I think I've been
Um,
using them for quite a few years too. Do you do a
it's great.
monthly deposit or something like that for it?
So mine does like a change jar sort of thing where it takes like if I pay like
Round up?
$2.80, yeah, $2.80 for something, then it'll round up the 20 cents and put it in this investment account. Um, and it does that with every purchase I do on my credit card, which is great.
Hmm.
And then also I have like $20 a month. I mean, $20 a week coming out of that and just straight into there. So like I don't even see that money either.
Hmm.
And I mean, I saved for my
I
first house that way.
No, that's great.
And now I have retirement.
So wait,
money.
you're using it are you using it specifically all for investment or are you using it as a savings pool as well? I know I use it for the investment side of it, but
Yeah, I am using the investment side now, but back when saving money was a lot harder and I had a whole family and a whole house and all that stuff, like it was I used it as a way to save money without having to think about it.
hmm.
I love the automaticness of it. It's really
Yeah.
nice.
You're gonna
so I
sway Becca
used
into open another account.
Which is, oh no.
no, Ryan, remember, no, I'm not using Acorns. I used to have that account. Remember, Ryan, that I used to talk about that
I,
it would take small draws out of my account every single day. It would take like $1 or 20 cents or whatever. And I saved for Disney. I
I
saved
think I
like,
kind of remember that. It
yeah, I
sounds
saved
similar to
like
Acorns.
$800 with that account, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Like
so
that's
funny how
literally
our
the
brains think. Like we can't afford to save $31 a month, but we can afford to save $1 a day.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's just like psychological manipulation.
It's so dumb.
Our brains are just animal brains.
Yeah, I should have it transfer $1 a day. I should really have my banks work for me more.
Do
I
it.
Yeah.
should transfer
$1 a
one
day.
dollar a day.
That's your 1%. Your 1%
Yeah.
profit thing. Just do it for your personal account. 1%.
That's only no, I'll do $2 a day.
There you go.
Perfect.
For $2 a day, you can save.
For $2 a day, you can save $704.
And go
Right?
on a
There's
vacation.
352 days in a year, right?
365. I'm not good at numbers, but I do remember that one. I can never remember the freezing point of water though. 32? Is that right?
32 degrees.
Oh my
32
God.
degrees.
0 Celsius.
I can barely remember that.
365 days in a year.
Correct.
So I would save
Unless it's a leap
600.
year. If it's a leap year, there's an
Oh,
extra
don't,
day
you'll
in there.
confuse her more.
Okay, I changed my mind. I'm saving $3 a day.
Why don't you
Wow.
start small and then add to it?
Yeah,
If
don't
that's
go
what he's
too
saying.
big
Start,
too soon.
yeah.
You'll scare yourself
right.
off.
You're like,
You're
start
right.
$1. No, we're to $2. No, we're to $3. Okay, we're to $3. And then you're gonna pull out of that account.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
you're
do
right.
one.
I'll do
Just do
$1
one.
a day.
And then at the end of the month, you can change it to $2.
Yeah,
If
but
you
I
still
gotta
feel okay.
fucking cancel this goddamn Relay account.
Well, Becca's got some action items.
There you
Brian,
go.
do you have action items?
I think my action item, I think it's very doable. I think it would be doable to probably start with applying it for the Wheel Talk account to start.
Hmm.
Fucking love that.
Well, yeah, because you're gonna get more money.
Yes, that's exactly why. That's exactly. This motherfucker has $8,000 in our wheel. Oh, I know.
Don't say that.
Okay.
You better bleep that out.
You don't have to
Okay,
bleep
it's
that
towards
out. It's
it's
not
towards
that.
the
Well,
end.
it might be that much, but
It is that much, but he's like a hoarder of money, And I'm like,
That's how you get wealthy.
I know, but I'm poor.
That's because you keep spending it.
No, it's because I don't make any money.
But you have a job now.
No, but I will say that we increased the amount of money that I'm not going to say how much to how much, but
Yeah, we increased it more than we did last year for sure. By a
yeah,
That's
lot more.
great.
with what we get monthly,
So
you know.
yeah, so I think implementing it on that the Wheel Talk account is a good start. It seems a little overkill to have that many accounts, but I think I might be willing to do that.
Well, you don't necessarily need to do a tax account because it's still your bank account.
Right. I mean, I think to do it like full on, I still think it would be nice to do it completely. Just because
Yeah.
there's not that many transactions going through there on a regular basis. I think it would be relatively easy to keep track of. I don't even know that I would need to do it twice a month. I could probably do it once a month.
And it would be a good kind of like a good experiment if we like I don't know, had another podcast on February 12th of 2026 and talked about like the results of
I love that
setting
idea.
setting up the Wheel
Mhm.
Talk account, doing the, $20 and all my shit.
Just see where we are in a
I
year.
mean, yeah, I mean
Yeah.
some of the things that I'm not that I was a little fuzzy with when he was talking about expenses, like some of these things that we spend money on, like going to conferences and spending money on meals and going to, lodging
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like that's it doesn't feel like an operating expense, but it is necessary to have some of those expenses when you're going to shows and you're traveling out of town and you're driving miles and those get
Yeah.
deducted. Like that kind of stuff. I guess that's part of that percentage of expenses that you could cut in some ways, but um
Yeah, rent a U-Haul.
yeah, rent a U-Haul
Yeah.
and
Not a U-Haul. It's actually the Home Depot truck.
the Home Depot truck.
Right. My bad. My
We just got to
lesbian
get it
brain
back
just
in
went right
time.
to
We got
U-Haul.
to get it back in time to return it to check it back out the
Yeah.
next day.
Because we might owe $30. No, you can rent them for more than that. They're 29.99.
Plus the miles, whatever the mile cost is, if
It's
there's
fucking
miles on there.
so expensive to rent a car nowadays. It's like $600.
Are you
It's not
kidding
that
me?
much, but I think it
No,
was
but
four
it's a
hundred
lot.
dollars.
That's a lot of fucking money. Okay.
It is.
You
But
could
that's
you
that's the
could
cost of
buy
doing business.
you could buy a beater car on Facebook Marketplace, pick it up from an Uber from the airport and then just leave it in the street like for cheaper. I'm like,
That's how I bought my car, and do you know what happened on the way home? The engine fell out. The engine literally died before I got it home. I had to rebuild
That's
the entire fucking engine.
that's the risk you run, I guess.
Yep. Not doing that again.
yep.
She's still cooking though. Like
We
she
could
is a
just
good car.
hitchhike, Becca. You could just save money and just
Oh
hitchhike.
yeah, just
And then
hitchhike.
hitchhike, you could take public transit, that
What could
doesn't
go
cost
I'm
wrong?
four hundred
What
dollars.
happened to the mega bus? Maybe take the mega bus.
big fan of public transit. Yeah.
So that's my key takeaway. I'm gonna implement it with Wheel Talk and then see how that goes. It feels like I could do it in my regular business. I'm a little iffy about doing all the math to figure out the allocation percentages and stuff, but I don't know. I wonder how beneficial it's going to be. Like my business is already pretty profitable, so I'm like, how much benefit am I actually going to get?
Right.
But am
Yeah.
I just going to get more? I think it would pay me more money on a regular basis, which I don't think is a bad idea to pay myself more owner's comp, but also taking profit out of the business and putting it into the personal.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a good idea because the whole, him mentioning about reinvesting it back into the business is, I mean, he was saying, if you want to open a separate account to have like a big purchase, like buying a new kiln or buying something else for your business, like building a studio or something like that, like set up a separate account and allocate a percentage to that account regularly until you can buy that thing. So I
Mhm.
see benefit in something like that, but I don't know. I think I do like the paying myself more of the profit of the business regularly
Mhm.
instead of just pooling that money and just keeping it there. Um, Historically, I don't take quote unquote profit out. I pay myself an owner's comp, but I'm not taking anything above and beyond that from the pottery business. So,
You deserve it, Ryan. You do so much work.
hmm
You're your
So
best
much work.
employee.
Yeah,
so
you're your best employee.
so that's my goal.
Cool. Well, what should we read for next time?
Well, clearly Taylor's not looking for a
A
A
business.
financial
Are we
business
are we
book.
doing
book.
the one that Heidi recommended, or are we doing
Oh,
something
Art
different?
and Fear.
Art and Fear. I'll read that. I have both of a lot of those things in spades right now.
You have art and fear.
I've
Art
got both of
and
those
Fear.
things. Yes. The fear is diminishing the more my Zoloft goes up, but still have plenty to spare.
Art and Fear by David Bayless and Ted Orland. The subtext of it is Art and Fear, observations on the perils and rewards of art making.
That sounds great.
It's only 3 hours audiobook.
That sounds even
Shut the
better.
fuck up. I could listen to that in a day.
It's not at the Louisville Public Library, unfortunately.
Here, let
but
me look.
I'll
I'll
buy
look and
it.
see.
That might be one that can actually be read physically. It's not, I don't know how many pages that is, but
Yeah, if I want to read it physically, I'll never do it. I can't read self-help anymore. I can only listen to it. Reading is only for pleasure and distraction, reading words.
yeah.
And this year so far, I have read 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 novels.
What
Since the
kind of
first
novels do you like?
since the first of the year. Well, I like gay shit. I like futuristic
You just
stuff. I
like a
like
smutty person?
yeah, I love smut. I love smut. I love adventure fantasy. Um, let's see. What have I read this year? Mermaid Lesbians. That was a It's not
That's
called
the
Mermaid
title?
Lesbian. It's not called Mermaid Lesbians.
Oh,
It is it's called Ice Kingdom, but it's a whole series of Mermaid Lesbians. And then there was like a smutty fantasy trilogy and then another cute fantasy romance that was gay and then two other gay romances that were more like present day. And now I'm reading this 7-part series about it's called The Truth Spoken Air and it's about like a future society, more lesbians, no smut, uh in court intrigue and danger and people who can change themselves to look like other people and it's pretty rad. So, yeah.
Hmm.
I read a lot for pleasure only.
I'm reading the Expanse series from James. Each book is like fucking 20 hours long.
Whoa.
oh, jeez.
Yeah. Oh shit.
I think
Did
the
you hear that?
9 hour one was long enough. Did not hear that.
Hear
Okay,
what?
good. So it used to, I accidentally opened up Apple Music. The
Oh, a
Expanse,
future thing.
it's like yeah, it's based in space and it's cool because it's written in first person, but there's always like 3 different characters that it's written in. So
Cool.
each chapter is a character and so it'll be like Holden is one of the characters and then it explains his like take and then the next but it's still pretty successive timeline. So
Hmm.
like you'll hear his take on a certain scenario and then the next chapter, you hear that same scenario in somebody else's, but it overlaps just a little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really cool. It's called The Expanse. They had a TV series too,
Yeah, I
but
see that.
I didn't watch the show, obviously.
Science fiction space opera. That sounds fun.
Yeah. So it was James something is his name.
James S.A. Corey, the pen name of Daniel
Yeah.
Abraham and Ty Frank. So 2 guys
Shut the fuck
that
up.
have
Oh,
one
it's a
pen name.
pen name for 2 people. Wow.
Yep. 9 novels. You'll be reading that one for a while.
I'm on the 3rd.
That's awesome.
No, I'm not. I'm on the 4th.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm
Art
on...
and Fear is our next one. Yeah.
Art and Fear.
Oh yeah, Art and Fear.
I just placed a hold in the Cincinnati Library. I did not see an audiobook for Louisville, so
Yeah, I didn't see
I
even
just
a
placed a
regular
hold
book.
in Indy. Do you
okay.
want me to?
My hold said 4 weeks, so
What? Mine said 6 on. Wait, do I have your Cincinnati library? You bitch! You didn't share the Cincinnati library with me?
I got that from Rachel.
Oh no, I have hers.
I don't
Never mind.
actually have a
Okay.
Cincinnati Library one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You probably placed it before me, and that's why it was 6 weeks.
You got to stop blaming people for your hold list.
Yeah. It's 3 hours, so I hope whenever it does come back, it will
We
be
can just take care of it in a day.
relatively quick.
Yeah.
Taylor,
I
are you
gotta show
reading these
you.
on a faster time? Do you read them quicker than one time speed, or do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Figured.
my brain tunes out if it's not fast enough.
What's your speed? 1.5?
1 point. Well, I listened to a lot of this book at 1.25, and then I got really
That's what
in
I
the
listened to
weeds,
it.
and then I switched to 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember how fast you talk. I think mine's at 1.5, maybe.
It made him sound even more obnoxious and salesy because he's talking really, really fast.
I agree.
Okay, I thought he
I
was kind of
agree.
fast, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I have one more thing to shit on him about. He was like, "Hey, you can like get these diagrams from my website." So I went to his website, MikeMotorbike.com, and he was like, "Here, sign up here to get your free stuff from the audiobook." I was like, "Great." He never sent me that, but he
I
did put
found
me
them-
on his mailing list.
I found them without having to go to that.
Oh, good. Now I have to unsubscribe from his mailing list. He's like, "Did you read the first 2 chapters of Profit First yet?" I'm like, "Mike, get out of my inbox."
I think it was on the free resources tab, and then there's a section for the book, Profit First, and then there's a PDF link out to the side. I think that's where you need to be. Well, you're probably not
I
going to
must
go
have
there
been on
now,
my phone.
but yeah, if you got to go to the free resources page, which is not the link at the top that says get the tools or get the free tools.
That's so
But
stupid.
but yeah, there's some graphics in there that are a little helpful. It's talking about the
Yeah, I wanted to see
naming
them.
the accounts, and it's got the target allocation percentages for businesses that are 0 to 250K. So like the profit percentage target he had was 5% profit, which doesn't seem that unattainable, right? 5% of
Yeah.
your,
That's totally doable.
especially if you start at 1%.
What's
Owners pay
5% of 40K? What, like 2,000?
Peanuts.
0.05.
Peanuts.
$2,000, and then the owner's pay at that level is 50%. So you're going to take out 20K of that 40K. Taxes 15%. It's 15% all the way across the board, no matter how big the business is, from what he's got here. And then operating expense, he has 30%. Those don't seem that unattainable.
No.
So, and then he's got some stuff with the, what he names his accounts, which is good.
Oh my God, he looks just like you would think he does.
Oh my God, I want to see.
Ugh.
And
like he's wearing this blue shirt that says, "You got this," and he's pointing at you through the camera.
Gross.
And he's like smiling, and he's like He looks like he's had a chin implant. Like he's got this huge chin.
Are you
And he's
looking at the
got,
one
like,
that says
this
Profit
really
First Overview?
incredible hairline for someone his age. What? No, I'm just at MikeMichalowicz.com.
Oh, him. Okay.
Just like the
The other
homepage.
photo I see is a little different than that. He doesn't have
You're
a.
right. He does.
clean
He
cut,
looks like he
no
looks like he
beard.
rides a bike everywhere.
Yeah, he looks like he goes to the gym at like 5 in the morning and he like
Ah,
drinks a lot
fuck
of
those
coffee.
guys. Fuck those guys.
Yeah, that's what he
Yeah.
looks like. He looks like a fucking, oh my God, there's a picture of him holding a sign over his head if you scroll down and he's got these huge arms. Gross.
And it says trailhead.
He wasn't afraid of a
I don't-
dirty joke in this book.
I don't
which
remember
appreciated.
I don't remember the trailhead reference here.
Who fucking knows?
I guess he's just saying you're starting your business.
Yeah,
so
we
you're
can
gonna
fix
Yeah,
start.
yeah,
this.
you're
So here you
starting.
go.
And then the one below, he's holding a coffee cup with it spilling all over his
Spilling
shirt.
all.
Spilling.
Yeah, but it's actually not. That's totally photoshopped.
Yeah, that's like so
It
badly
looks so
photoshopped.
fake. He has a little gut in this picture. This must be before he started going to the gym. I'm not body shaming you, Mike. I'm just saying, I don't know what I'm
Okay,
saying.
but also like down where it says Mike is with celebrities all the time. The one where it says Bill Gates, not to be confused with Bill Gates. He looks like a normal human being in like,
Yes,
a
he does.
plaid,
Like a
know.
selfie. He still has an incredible hairline and a big chin.
He does. He looks exactly like how he sounds. You're right.
Yeah.
He looks like a fucking like that guy that's always happy that you want to like slap in the face.
Yes. Yes. Like a motivational speaker.
Yeah, like those people.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, and then
you're
he's
just like,
oh,
why can't I be that happy and successful? That's right,
not.
because
It's
I don't
fake.
have a soul.
What
It's not
about if you go to that's a Chrome extension, that's not gonna work. I was gonna say, if you look at this other one that is him with clean shaven, does
Uh-huh.
that change?
Oh,
Because he doesn't
where's
have a
that?
beard in that. Okay.
Where?
Um,
Now I just kind of Google him.
Okay, but I do appreciate these Mike with celebrity. He does have a good sense of humor. Mike
does.
is with celebrities all the time, and he's got like Anthony Robbins, and then he's like up in the fucking bleachers,
Yeah.
and
In the
then
back.
like
Here's
then
Mike's
Oprah-
foot in an Oprah commercial.
Yeah, and then Bill Gates is just like a fucking picture
picture
of
of
Bill
him.
Gates.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah, he's
yeah.
got a sense of humor. Or his team
put
has
the
a sense
link-
of humor.
I'll put the link in there in the chat of Zoom if you want to see.
Mike
yes,
watched-
please.
clean cut.
Mike watched this Oprah episode twice. He did not get a car.
Oh my God. There's the
He
chat.
is funny. Like he's like, I feel like he's like an idyllic dad joker.
Yes. You know what? I don't think that without the beard it changes. He's got a butt chin. He looks like the acting people that I used to hang out with who are trying to make it in the acting industry. Like all their headshots look like that. Like he looks like aspirational but approachable. He's got great teeth. He's got great skin. He's got great hair. He just looks like a dad, but like a TV commercial dad.
If you scroll down to page 3 of that, honestly, that's the whole book. Profit First one
Oh
sheet.
my God, it is.
There you go.
Wait, where are you? I want to see.
Look, go in the chat and click. I don't want to read
It's
this
just the
whole-
overview of Profit First. So I mean, it's everything you need to know, honestly.
Yeah. It's got
Are you
Parkinson's
fucking
law.
kidding me?
We could
Oh
have
my
just read
God!
this. We could have read this.
This is fucking dumb as shit.
I'll probably
my
print
God.
this and I'll use this for our
Okay, but also I want a pig with those ear things.
Yeah, that looks cute. A piggy bank with a. It's wearing a sweatband.
headband?
A sweat headband. Yeah,
Yeah.
a sweatband. Yeah, he looks way younger without a beard, and like I like him better with a beard.
He looks. I don't know. Either way, I'm not a huge fan.
Also, I appreciate the hook me up. Text
If you
hook me up.
if you go to the very, very bottom of the page, there's 2 links. On the left, it says, I'm Mike's biggest fan. And on the right, it says, I can't stand this guy. And if you click on them, Mike's biggest fan says, are you a fan or a stalker? Here's how to find out. Do you dress your dog in a Mike vest and ask him for advice? Do you have a secret room with pictures of Mike on the walls? Have you ever watched Mike through binoculars? If you answered yes to any of these, well, you might just be a stalker, but that's cool. We love you the same. Now here's a tool, a link to get the tools, aka get on his mailing list. And then if you click on I can't stand this guy, it takes you to a page from the American Psychological Association with an article that says, "Control anger before it controls you." There's a picture of a woman
talking
on a
about
cell
anger
phone looking really
management
angry. Yes.
Honestly, though, like, it's fucking clever as shit.
He's got a great team, obviously.
Yeah, he has a great team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way he did all that himself, so. He's smart.
That's
He's
fucking hilarious.
got some good people behind him. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Okay,
want
anyway.
a thing that's like that. Mike's biggest fan, can't stand this guy. I know a lot of people that would say can't stand this lady.
It's not your people.
So, Art and Fear.
Art and Fear.
Do we have a general timeline when we should recommend this to folks?
Don't we
for when
do
they
it
should get
every quarter? How often do we do this?
Probably. What if we say like May?
Yeah,
That sounds good.
Please.
Is that too far
Yeah.
out?
That sounds
I
fine
like
to me.
May.
We'll be
Okay.
sweaty by then.
Maybe we could say it'll be released in May.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll start reading it the last week of April.
There we go.
Put it on my calendar so I don't forget.
All right, Becca. No excuses on not getting to it.
Start.
It's only 3
reading.
hours. I can do that.
She's going to do it the same day.
Probably.
Exactly. Should be like, honestly, guys, I got halfway through it.
And I couldn't handle it.
If I didn't have to, talk to this person next to me at work today, I would have finished it.
I would have finished it.
Lloyd was being an ass and I didn't
So
sleep.
I'm gonna put it on the 13th of April
to
All
read
right.
it.
to read it.
And then maybe you'll get to it by May.
Remember, it might get backlogged. Somebody might reserve it. You might need to get it, put that reserve in now.
I already put the reserve in.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, sometimes it's like 26 weeks wait for a fucking book.
Oh my gosh.
I get on that list. I'm like, I'll read it eventually.
Is that because there's like 8 copies, but there's 40 people on the
Yes.
list, or is
Yeah.
it a single single cop? Okay.
Nope.
I was gonna say
it's
usually
just
when
for
it's
really
one
popular
cop.
books.
Okay.
Listen,
popular
it's
smutty
so
books.
fun, but it's so fucking funny that like the library's like, nope, it's not unlimited.
Yeah. We don't have an unlimited license.
Well,
This
they
is
probably
a-
pay per copy, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Look at this fucking cat.
Chilling.
She
can't
has
see
no social awareness.
Oh, there we go. I love her. She's so cute.
All right. Of the 3 books, any of them best of the 3 so far?
What was the second one we read? Steal Like
Steal
Art.
Like
you
an
didn't.
Artist.
You didn't like that one.
I don't like Art and Well, I still like Elizabeth. What's
The
her
Big
face?
Magic.
The Big Magic was good.
With
I think-
all of its foibles, I like that one.
Yeah. I think that one's still the top of the list of the 3 so far.
Yeah, it
you
had
didn't
so
like
many.
You love this book though, Ryan.
I did, but I think The Big Magic is going to spark more action
Mm.
to most people.
Mhm.
and be more relatable, I think, than this, because this, if you're like, I'm not gonna do that, then the whole book is useless, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
I mean, there's bits of it, but like, do you really need to read the whole thing to get a small snippet?
No.
No, you can just read the webpage that you just shared. That
Yeah,
has 3.
seriously,
Yeah.
just
Put
read
that in
the
the show
one
notes.
pager. Maybe I will.
They'll just not have. We could just save you guys a lot of money. So send us something.
Yeah, look through
Yeah.
that and
Send
be
us
like,
money.
all right,
Yeah.
that seems interesting. I might want to read it. I don't know. I did see a few people tag us or say they were looking it up or they were getting it prepared so that we can
Well, that's
for when we
nice.
release it. I saw at least 2 or 3 people say that.
Love that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we got a little book club, an informal book club going
Tell
on.
them to commit to read it and send us a selfie by email. Then we can
Yeah.
say
Yep.
15 people have been reading this.
Show
with
us your
us.
bank account that you've opened.
Yep. We'd
Make sure
also
to
like
include all
see
the
your
numbers.
and your social security card.
Yes, please.
Becca, you mentioned Andrew. Does that mean Andrew uses it, or do you know somebody that already uses Profit First?
Yeah, me and Andrew both use it. Like started the thingy.
Okay.
Well, actually, I made Andrew read it.
Wait, he's not, but is he using it more than you're using it? Because you're kind of like half-assing it.
I
Is
think he
he
uses it.
okay?
I could text him, but he'll probably won't answer me.
Okay. I don't know any. I've never heard of it before you brought it up, so I don't know of anybody else that actively uses it.
I will say that Jen, who owns the Create Studio in Statesville, she said she knows somebody who uses it and like changed her whole business strategy doing it.
But did she
Yeah.
get profitable?
I don't know. I didn't ask that.
That's
Well,
the
I mean,
question.
the idea is you start doing profit immediately. So I mean,
Right. But did it work? Inquiring
would
minds want
Yeah.
to know.
Jen even
Yeah.
has the book. She just hasn't read it yet, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it is it requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of routine and like willingness to commit. Like if you can't do that and you're kind of like so on it, it's not, I mean, I guess that's the idea. It's not gonna, I
Yeah.
mean, I guess you don't have to do 100%, but I mean, if you're
Mhm.
gonna respect the process, I guess you should do more of it.
He was talking about like, you want your business to serve you, and if you want it to get huge, then, but no reason to make it get huge. If it's making you like, if your life is good, then
Yeah.
you don't have to try to just grow.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel
Yeah.
comfortable with my business that way.
Yeah, I like that. He was saying like don't focus on growth first, focus on the profit. And if you focus
Right.
on the profit and the efficiencies, you're probably going to be in a better state than the folks that try to grow early and like keep going.
Yeah. And how many people do you know that like grew a business and then they're like upside down in debt,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
they like just keep going and going and going and they think that they just need to move every time and they just don't.
Yeah.
They don't
So
have a life.
hopefully the art and fear side of it, maybe that'll um relate more to the day-to-day, the act of the things that we're doing and making
Mhm.
and make that side more enjoyable or fulfilling. And then the profit first business side is like, okay, separate from all that shit.
Right. It's the other side that artists don't like, generally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll see what that comes.
Yeah.
What we
Looking
get
forward
from
to
that.
it. I gotta
I
go
just
because I
saw
gotta do this ad for this company Wheel Talk podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Like they sent me this script to read tonight. I don't know. They're being really
I
butts about
just
it.
saw a light outside, so I definitely need to go.
Does that mean something bad?
Well, I'm kind of parked in a precarious
Whoop
parking
whoop
lot.
whoop whoop.
Okay, be safe.
There's some homeless people, but I was just gonna I have to get out to close the cat door because I don't need Dottie free falling out the back again.
Oh my God.
No, we don't
And
want that.
yeah.
Dottie, stay in the van where it's safe. You dummy.
Oh, God, you bitch.
All
She's like
right.
a little
Well,
parrot sitting there on your shoulder.
hopefully y'all enjoy listening to that. Hopefully you got some either start reading the book or got some takeaways. But thanks Taylor for joining us again. We shall
Course.
see you here shortly. And you'll
Yes.
be hearing more from Taylor on the podcast when we've got some ads, probably on this episode, honestly.
Yay. I'm glad to
Yeah.
be here in that spirit, in
Yeah.
that capacity.
Yay, we're glad to support you.
Thanks.
All right. So thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Becca, you got to stop it.
Yeah, I know.
Leave that part in.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. This podcast is made possible through the contributions of all of our listeners who always ask us great questions, leave us reviews, and contact with us through social media.
Thanks to all the fellow makers as well who take time to be interviewed and share about their lives and businesses.
And thank you to Ashley from Boldover Ceramics and Lindy from Lindy Garner Ceramics for their assistance on the Whale Talk Podcast Instagram. You are invaluable. Thank you to everybody.